the red shirt in my collection. And so he throws them in the wall.
Pretty good.
And
So he shrinks people?
yeah, he just shrinks them. He's just Shrink Ray. It's one of the kids, too. It's like, Shrink Ray. And he throws the guy with the red shirt in the wall. And the guy in the red shirt is just like, what is this? What's happening? I gotta get out of here. And some dude comes up, saves him. And we gotta get out of here before the Gumball Gang shows up. And he's like, why are they called the Gumball Gang? They like gum. And it just zooms out. I'm like, oh my god, I want to see more of this. This is a show.
They were telling me about it, but they didn't actually describe the show to me at all.
The show's definitely very
If you watch it,
just fucking 'cause
you would
whatever.
assume it's a part of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, it's
If you
definitely just
seen
because
it.
whatever.
That's
Like,
fair.
all the story bits are just like, yeah, whatever.
That's interesting.
It's very good.
It's seems like a good concept.
I like how casually you're trying to lead this into the intro.
Welcome to Time's Up. I'm Wayne.
Mikey.
I'm Mark. And I'm Mark.
This episode is brought to you by Cabbages and Kings Games and W.E. Sullivan's Irish Pub and Fair. Also, our newest sponsor, The Beard Struggle. More about them in a bit.
Looking forward to it. My beard struggles.
You could use some beard
I'd
struggle.
say you're the
stuff.
only one that needs some beard struggle stuff.
My hair just grows really slow.
Yeah, you said it would come in.
Yeah.
Whenever.
I mean,
So-
it'll come in if I leave it alone for 2 years.
That's your
Oh,
goal. Your goal is to have a beard.
Is it though?
I want to see Mark with a full beard. You've
Wayne
committed
just-
to grow your hair to your shoulders.
Wayne
I
just
am growing my hair
imposed a beard on you.
So, my genes have finally kicked in, and I don't mean like my pants genes. My family has male pattern baldness pretty bad,
Shut up, he says.
and it kicks in right around mid-20s to 30s. I thought I was going to be fine. My hair is way thicker than most of my family's.
You're far wrong, Paul.
It's starting to clear out up top. She's going south for the winter.
Yeah, earlier
And
today,
the winter's forever.
I got sunburnt on the top of my head. And I was like, can you
Yeah,
spray
but
the
you
top of my
shaved.
head? And Rachel's like, spray your head. Why do I need to spray the top of your head? I was like, because I'm bald. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, I have hair. And I looked at Laura. I said, I have hair. Dad has hair. Dad has a great head of hair. And Rachel's like, don't lie. Don't let him lie to you.
It's gone. It's gone forever.
Yeah, mine's starting to thin out, and so it showed up way faster than I wanted to. Last year, this
I got
time,
that.
my hair was fine. Last couple of months, it's come in really
You
bad.
can see the receding.
Oh yeah, she's going away.
Yeah.
It kind of looks
Then I
like,
have something up here.
you know what you could do? You could just have it start right at the top and go straight down into your sideburns and down under your chin. You just wear a ribbon all the time.
I've already committed to being a hat man.
Oh, okay.
It's true.
But
So-
I want my hair to grow out at least once.
Since he's decided to grow his hair out. What I'm thinking he should do is also grow his beard out.
Yeah,
you just want me to be like some weird hipster?
Let it all go.
Let it all grow.
Should I just be a really stinky hippie?
I'm growing my beard
No.
out.
Shower and stuff. Like, be hygiene.
Yeah, what do you mean? Why do you gotta be stinky?
Well, you don't gotta be that kind of guy. I'm
I
just saying,
could.
it would be nice to see Mark with a beard and long hair for once.
Pretty dope.
It's a little
Since
gay.
he's you brought it up yesterday.
Don't you have
It's
Viking
your
genes
fault.
I don't.
No.
No, I don't. Despite my tattoo.
Yeah.
You poser.
It's a lie.
You poser.
My people were pillaged by the Vikings.
So, did you guys do anything fun this week?
This week, I
This
smashed my brother in Magic the other day.
I'm glad you added in magic.
It's a good thing you added in Magic, otherwise this show could be going south.
You guys are dirty.
You said it.
Wayne's over here talking about loving my face with facial hair, and then
I love
sexualizing my
facial hair.
underage brother.
Wayne
You
asked me
perverts.
yesterday. Wayne
It's not
said,
even me that did it. Mikey did it.
You
What'd
both
say?
did it in
I
your
did.
minds.
What'd you say yesterday about? You said, Mikey, what would you do if I sent
Oh,
you a
I
text?
asked Mike. I was like, Mikey, what would you do?
Well, yeah.
Let me bring up the exact
He
message.
said,
I
if
sent.
he said, what would you do if you got a text that was,
I was like, what would you do if you got a text and it said, where is that here? I was like, oh, hey, babe, I love you.
and I said, I mean, it depends on for who. And then Wayne said, for me. And I said, oh, well, and send you something back that I love you too, sweets, and some kissy
Couple
faces.
kiss faces.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy response. We did that to Dan on
Yeah, we did
yesterday.
As we were leaving, after we got my cards and stuff, as we were leaving, we were walking out. I was like, all right, bye, Dan, love you.
Yeah, I walked out. I said kisses, and he, without missing a beat, turned around. Okay, bye guys. I love you both.
What a guy.
He's amazing.
Right in front of his customers. He doesn't care.
Helped me out with my new Magic cards I opened.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you guys.
Ikoria is out. Big monsters all over the fucking place.
Godzilla in the house.
Yeah, I got all my Godzilla cards minus one. Minus one, because Dan only opened one and I didn't open any. But Dan had
Sad
multiples of what he opened, so it hooked me up and helped me out
What a
to
guy.
finish off what I needed.
Mikey, my favorite part of these Godzilla cards, this is the first print run, and one of them was named Death Corona before the Corona pandemic happened, and they've decided to change its name, which means the Death Corona one is now unique.
Correct.
Oh, so if you have the
If
Death
you have a
Corona,
Death
it's no
Corona,
longer
like,
being
I,
printed.
Nope,
I,
they're
I
gonna
have
change the name.
Death Corona.
Wow.
They're gonna
So
change the name.
it's probably going to be worth quite a bit of money.
Probably
Maybe.
not a stellar
It
in
probably
the
won't be like
future.
super high.
but it'll be more than the normal one.
The most expensive card I opened was $40.
Was that your commander?
What's the most expensive card you own?
Well, I don't want to get into that fight.
I just want to know. Off the top of your head.
$400.
Yeah,
400
I was
mark?
fucking there when you bought that one.
Yeah.
What's yours? man?
I don't know what the most expensive card I have is right now. I don't. When
The
I
most
had
expensive
Even
cards
that
you
can
have.
come to your mind, like just the, like, do you have like $100 card? Or
What decks
something?
do you have built right now? Because it's probably in a deck.
I have Kalia.
Kali's not that expensive anymore.
I have.
My Avicen's not that much. It's only 20
It's
bucks.
still Una right now, but I still have Una, and that
Not
has
much.
some cards in it.
You
but
had
it's
an
not-
Underground Sea.
I
in
did
there.
have an Underground Sea. That was my most expensive card at $540.
You bought it for 540?
I bought it for $500. It went
Alright.
up to $540.
And the price of yours is 400 mark?
I'd have to double check. I bought mine for 330, but it is a mint condition Italian Legends card, so it's probably gone up a little bit.
Yeah, as far as like most expensive card I have right now, I have no idea.
Pricey.
As far as like how much my whole collection is right now,
Wow.
I don't even think I can put a price on that because I don't know.
Every deck I have except for two. My red deck and my blue deck aren't super money intense. They're
Yeah.
maybe $300 or $400 each. Every other deck I have, and I have 6 decks, is over $1,000.
So am I.
2 of them are about $2,000 each.
My most expensive deck is it's probably over $1,200, and that's
It's gonna be way more.
That's Zagana. That's
It's-
the one I'm getting my altars in. That's why it's so much.
So
To
those
the
are-
right person, it'll be worth
I mean,
way
yeah, those are
more
one
than what I paid
one of
for.
ones.
Well,
so-
Correct.
see, here's the thing though. Like, if you ever get rid of that deck, you're not selling it as a Zagana deck.
No.
You're selling it to a Lord of the Rings collector.
Yeah.
Correct. I'm selling it to a specific person.
They
looking
have to
for
be into
something
Magic
like
and
that.
they have to be into
And
Lord of the Rings.
They don't even have to be in the Magic.
They
They
really
just
don't.
buy the deck for the art.
Correct.
It just upped the price
But,
if
like,
they were into both. And
The,
they're
God's,
like,
the,
fuck yeah, I know what these
the
cards are.
Godzilla cards that got totally changed everything for me. I was super into it. Over here crushing fucking cans.
We need a garbage can in
We
this
do.
place.
We also should move the fridge
Yeah,
in
dude,
here.
I know.
We should turn off the air conditioner.
That's right. That is still on. It was on the entire time we were testing it. So
Yeah, we couldn't even tell, could we?
Correct.
Maybe we don't.
Maybe we don't.
We'll figure out
We'll see.
when it gets
We'll
hot.
see what it turns into.
Yeah, we'll wait till 20 minutes when we're all taking our shirts off and rubbing up on
Yeah.
each other.
As we do.
But other than that, I mean,
Hot or cold, doesn't matter.
I got free ice cream the other day.
How'd you do that? told me
Me
this
and my
already.
brother went to a good old ice cream shop. I don't want to say the name of right now.
I'll say it.
I don't want to
Whoa,
incriminate
I like that
myself.
place.
You want to incriminate yourself? Oh, you didn't pay. Is that what it was?
Yeah,
How could
man.
you do that?
Well,
to
you
us?
see, they
Her
had
daughter's handicapped.
4 different people came over to the window
need to
handing me
bring
my
this into
stuff, and I had my hand out to Nick to get the money from Nick because he had the money.
Mhm.
And I waited, and he never handed me the money. And then the last lady gave me the chocolate shake that Nick wanted, and she said, "All right, have a good day." So I just looked at her. I was like, "Okay," and I drove away.
You thief.
Yeah, I ignored that text when you sent it to me because I thought like somebody bought it for you, and I didn't want to be like, "You dick didn't invite me."
No,
So I just ignored that text.
yeah, no, it was drove away, didn't pay. No one asked me to.
I've done that a lot in movie theaters.
I've done it like shit.
Mark has seen a lot of freaking movies for free.
Yeah, so it
How?
also
It's
How
like
would you get into
we
a
went to
free
see
movie?
that
The-
Hercules movie.
the first
that
time it
really
happened-
shitty Hercules
yeah,
movie.
the first time it ever happened was the bad Hercules movie that came out in like 2012 or 13
It was
or something.
while we were still in high school.
Yeah, so it might have been like 2011. And it was the one where you could tell they used literally all of the
Their budget in the
VFX
opening.
budget in the first scene.
And you're like,
And then
whoa.
immediately after that, it was gone.
And it was like dudes in
And
cardboard.
so we went
Pretty
to that
much.
movie. It was Wayne went,
I went.
Aaron and Cammy went,
Aaron and Cammy while they
Chris
were together.
and Sam, and then
Correct.
me.
And then yeah.
And we all showed up separate. Chris with Sam, Aaron with Cammy, Wayne showed up, I showed up. And I walked in. I was like one of the first people there. Chris and Sam walked in. And then I just went with them to the counter. And then Aaron and Cammy and you showed up. And we all sat down, watched this movie. We got out of the movie. And we're all talking about how garbage it was. Because it was awful. I thought
He's
it was
like, man, I'm
hilarious."
sorry whoever paid for that.
Yeah, I
Because Mark
apologized.
didn't pay for it.
I said, man, whoever paid for me, I feel bad for you. And they all simultaneously looked at each other. And they're like, well, I didn't do it. Nobody paid for me. Every single one of them said it wasn't me.
You couldn't keep walking.
And I immediately went, well, you know what? For a free movie, it wasn't that bad. And that was the first one I think I ever saw free. And then it happened like 6 more times after that. I would just walk in and just go to a movie, and nobody would stop me. I wasn't doing it intentionally.
Yeah.
But they just would never stop me.
The most I got was we all got to see The Incredibles 2 in 3D for free because they couldn't get it to play in 2D.
Well, remember when we went and watched Endgame premiere for free? When we
Yes.
got invited to that Audi
Correct.
premiere?
Yes. Yeah, we got, well, a friend of mine, since he worked for an Audi company, he provided me, he just put on Facebook, he's like, anybody want these tickets? I'm not going. And I was like, yes. And he's like, all right, come on by and come get them. So I came over, I grabbed him, I was like, you sure you don't want to go? He's like, yeah, dude, no, it's totally fine. I really don't want to go. He's like, plus I got 3 more tickets, so if I change my mind, I got 3 more tickets. You're just taking 2. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Didn't see him there. We went. As we went, we ran into Scott, who owns the Zone down here.
Mm-hmm.
And ran into him while we were there. He brought both his daughters.
As he does.
Yeah. And we watched that movie. It was free. We got to see Avengers Endgame for free. For
That's pretty cool.
Before it even came out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
we watched it
the
like a
premiere.
week early, wasn't it?
The only thing is, the only shitty part was we had to watch. No, it came out the same day.
We just watched it
was the
like
same
an
day.
hour
It
before
was-
release or something.
It was 3 hours before the actual release of the movie.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a whole Audi party and everything like that, showing off their new car. And we had to sit through the beginning that had Captain Marvel as she looked at the new car and drove it somewhere.
An Audi.
We basically had a 20-minute ad and then a free movie.
Correct.
I'd do it.
It was totally worth it because that movie was super good.
The only part that annoyed me was when people in the audience would just like start clapping for the movie. It can't hear you.
It can't
That's one thing I hate when I go to movies.
They act like the
people
director's
clap in
like
the movie.
sitting there watching with
Like,
them.
People, I understand like you want to respect the film. Go write a good review about the film.
Yeah, like if you want
Like,
to enjoy the
literally,
film, enjoy the film.
Rate the film on whatever online source you have.
I understand at the end of a movie
But-
people want to
Well,
clap.
at the end of the
It's-
movie,
yeah,
sure.
exactly. It's
but
fine.
during the film, if you see something amazing, don't stand up and cheer and start clapping. Nobody can hear you except for the people you're annoying.
yeah, they all
Correct.
are just like
It is
shut
a
the fuck
screen.
up.
Or like,
it is moving pictures.
For some
and
reason,
sound.
like people behind us would not stop having to get up and go to the bathroom.
I can't tell you how many times they kicked my
So
seat.
they would like literally get up and kick our seat, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you don't know how bad I want to stand up and be an asshole about this.
But free movie.
But it was a free movie. It was at the
It was
the former
Carmike.
Carmike AMC.
AMC.
Yeah, it was
Whatever
a
it
pretty
is
good
now.
time though. The pre-party was stupid. We just sat outside waiting till we had to get in line. And I played RuneScape on my phone.
They said there was food. Never found it.
Never found it.
They had VR stuff set up in the lobby.
Nobody tried that.
I would
Nobody
not
did
use
it.
someone. There was that where me and Wayne went to the museum in Colorado. There was a VR thing, and I was like,
Yeah.
not going in there.
Correct. The only time I would I didn't even use it when we went to Chicago.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because
The
like
one time you played VR, mine.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
well
I
because
haven't
like
played VR.
I wouldn't use a public VR. Like,
the one in Chicago, like I mean, they're all like teachers and like teachers assistants and stuff like that, like teacher educators.
Speaking about education in VR, I don't know how my geology professor managed it up in Minnesota, but he managed to get like a really high-end VR set for the geology room, and he just had like Beat Saber and stuff on it. Like, it had nothing to do with the class, nothing to do with geology.
He probably said that there are programs that
he
you
was
can't
just.
use.
I think he was attempting to get them to start a VR club, but in order to start it, he had to convince them that it would be successful. So he got a set from the school, and he just had it in the room. And he's
Was
like,
it
"Yeah,
like
if you
a-
guys want to watch movies in VR, come play Beat Saber. Just come into the classroom." And we're like, "Sure."
That's what I mean. I want to see more games in classrooms. That's really what I want to see. Like, because not all games are bad. A lot of them are good for educational purposes,
Mhm.
depending on what you use it for.
The majority of the history I've learned is from Assassin's Creed. I'm just gonna say it.
I mean,
A lot of the history
it's
I've
not
learned. that the
100%
games-
accuracy.
Yeah.
No,
It's-
obviously, but they teach you. Like I was watching the Black Flag one. I was watching a part where you rescue someone from a jail, and I literally watched the History Channel later that night, and they were talking about that exact thing. And I was like, I learned all of this from a fucking video game.
I think a lot of these Assassin's Creed games are about as historically accurate as The Great, though, because The Great is a good show. It's about Catherine the Great, but it's a comedy series based off of like a Broadway play, so it's very loosely.
I mean,
historically
exactly.
accurate.
That's what I'm saying. Like they have their points, the main points of things being like in the one whatever Assassin's Creed where you're Connor and you're the
the one where
British,
you're an
yeah.
Indian.
it's they didn't like go crazy and say
No,
there
because
weren't no
Tyrant King
British.
George was a DLC.
Like they put things that were in. Obviously, there was no dude running around with a
Tomahawk.
hatchet
Yeah.
shaped like the Assassin's Creed symbol, killing people. But most of the historical facts, the points they hit, We're pretty historical.
The funny part is like
Leonardo
that
da Vinci.
that
and
game
stuff.
starts out with the assassin that's a Templar.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah.
Because you start
I
out
thought
playing
that
and
was-
you think you're the assassin, but you're a Templar.
Actually, a Templar. Yeah.
And it's like, so it turns out Connor is the
And
assassin.
yeah. Well, Connor's his son,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah. Very weird game.
I
They're good
It's
games.
played
really
some of
weird.
that game.
The first ones really were, in my opinion, like I said, the Leonardo da Vinci. When you're helping him do a bunch of stuff, obviously there's
And
probably
like
an
Assassin's Creed
assassin
2 and stuff like that.
doing that stuff, but it showed his machines and everything.
Yeah,
how
I
they
can't
work and
imagine
stuff.
Valhalla is going to be too crazy accurate, but it's also probably going to be a lot of go fuck stuff up.
A lot of
past-
people are super hyped about it. I'm not getting hyped for it
I'm gonna
because I
get
don't
it.
know how it's gonna be.
I haven't seen anything on it. All I've seen is the release poster. I haven't seen the trailer, nothing.
I'll get it just because that's how I am, and I
Yeah.
buy single player games mainly just to mess around.
Just to
Like
play them.
I bought there was the Egyptian Assassin's Creed,
Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Odyssey. I bought Odyssey. I played maybe an hour of, and I haven't touched it because it's a terrible game.
That's how I felt about
A lot of
Monster
people
Hunter.
like that game too.
That's how I felt about Monster Hunter. A lot of people in a Discord I'm
Monster
in.
Hunter is not appealing to me whatsoever.
It was
So here's the thing.
The
with
first
Monster
one when I played a long time ago when Monster Hunter was a thing, not the new one. When I played that one,
Yeah.
that was fun. It was new,
Here's
like,
my thing with Monster Hunter
maps and
Worlds.
everything.
Monster Hunter Worlds aesthetically is an amazing game.
Mhm.
It looks
good.
beautiful. I do not like it.
It's not fun.
I can't stand the play. It's very.
I hopped
It's
in-
not user friendly.
I tried to play it and it was nothing like the old one. Like the old one, you could do so much
Here's
more.
what,
I felt
here's
like.
what I've heard about it because the reason I got it is a bunch of people I'm friends with on Discord play it all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and they said I should get it and play it with them, and I was like, sure, I'll try it. I played it for 2 hours. I haven't touched it since, but I got it more than 2 weeks ago, so I can't get a refund on Steam.
Yeah.
I tried today, and they're like, no.
Is
I
it
was
still
okay.
like $70?
I don't know how much it is. I got it for 20.
I just think I kept looking at it because I was like, I wanted to get it.
But
when it
they
first came
said
out.
that as far as Monster Hunter games go, this is the most dumbed down one. And even for being a dumbed down one, it still doesn't tell you anything. It does not tell you how to play the game. It just
No.
says, here you
Just
go.
lets it go.
Figure it out.
It's like how Tarkov doesn't tell you shit when you start.
Yeah, but Tarkov is a whole different beast. Tarkov is a shooter at core.
If
so
if you've played shooters,
if you've
you
played a
understand.
shooter,
understand.
here's what
There's
you
no
yeah.
hunt monsters game.
Here's the only
similar.
thing you need to know to play Tarkov.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean you'll succeed, but in order to play it, all you need to know is that you shoot anything you see and reload your gun.
Yeah.
You have to reload. As long as you do those things,
You will.
you'll
And then-
learn how to play the game.
But it's when you start diving deeper into it, like
Yeah.
bullet types and
as long as you
different
remember those
guns
things,
and-
you'll learn how to play
That's
the game.
one of my favorite things about Tarkov. It's such a fun
Yeah.
game.
But with Monster Hunter,
It's
Monster Hunter doesn't do
in-depth.
that. Monster Hunter's just like, all right, pick a weapon. Well, okay, I don't know what these weapons do. Well, you got to pick one. All
Yeah.
right, I'll pick one. All right, now go fight monsters.
Good thing you chose the shitty one.
Yeah. All right, now I'll go fight monsters. Figure out what all your weapon combos are. It has combos. Yup, and you have to do special things. Okay, well, I'll try smashing the buttons. Oh, I got staggered. Why'd I get staggered? What does that mean? Oh, all my combos are interruptible. Cool. Like, it doesn't tell you anything. It just says, here's a big ass fuck all weapon. Go fight stuff.
That's one. I'm not happy I never tried that game out.
Yeah.
I'm happy I never got it.
There's been a
tempted
couple
to try
games
it.
that we've.
'Cause that's one of
gotten-
those things that like it was one of the games Johnny recommended to us,
Yep.
and he said, "Hey, you should
Well,
guys get this game." And then I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one."
That
I
was
wanted to
Johnny's
like it.
game when
Yeah.
we were kids. That's the first time I played
Yeah.
it. Monster Hunter was his thing. That's why I wanted to do it. Like my game was Battlefield. Like I loved
Yeah.
Battlefield. No matter what, I'd buy the Battlefield. Didn't matter if people hated it, everyone else hated it. I would buy it.
I got
that was
into
my
it.
game.
I wanted to like it because it is a beautiful game.
That's
Monster
why I'm a
Hunter
Halo.
looks
I'm a Halo
awesome.
guy. I'll always
Yeah,
buy
yeah.
Halo.
Your game's Halo. You've always played Halo.
I'll always buy it, no matter
I'll-
what. You
I'll
guys can
always
say
buy
it's
it.
a
March
shitty
games
game.
himself. He always plays with himself.
I'll
so
always
it's
buy
always
me.
going over
I'll
reliable.
buy me all the time. No, I'll always get a Fallout, and I'll always get Borderlands.
Fallout's another one.
Borderlands and Fallout. I'll always get them.
I fell out of love with Borderlands. I forgot why. I played 2, and that was less fun.
I played Borderlands
That's
1
one-
and I got bored.
That was the
and
last one I
said, "That's enough."
actively played was 2.
Oh, I love Borderlands 1. I love them all. I
1
love
was
them all.
really good. 2 was really good. And then I don't know. I can't even say they were bad games or anything. And like I didn't like them. I just didn't play them. I don't know. I just didn't get them anymore.
Borderlands 3 is pretty fun. Borderlands 3 is a lot better now that you can skip the 3 hours of previously unskippable cutscenes. Holy shit. What were they thinking?
Did they not make it to where you can skip them like after you
Not
beat
when the
it?
game came out.
Whoa.
And obviously people got angry.
That's
And they're like,
insane.
okay, yeah, skip them.
And the worst part is that it's not an exaggeration. There are 3 hours of cutscenes.
Like, I understand if it's your account's first time watching it. They go, yeah, well, you're going to watch our story because you paid it.
That's like
Borderlands
Fallout,
has
yeah.
never had cutscenes before. Like Borderlands has an intro sequence when you
They
start
have
the
the dude
game.
that comes up.
And then when you
Well,
start-
they have that weird pause
They have-
thing.
When
Well,
you
they have
start
radio
main
chatter.
DLCs, it has an intro sequence. And then whenever you meet a named enemy or important
They have
NPC,
their own little intro.
it
thing.
has
Yeah.
a little intro.
Those
slide.
are always fun to watch. Also, they're
But it
interesting.
never had like go into an
People walk
area.
in and-
Here's a cinematic. It never had cinematics. I don't know why they made the decision to
That is
do it.
weird.
And the decision to do it's fine. It's their game. They're experimenting. They're exploring. They're expanding their lore. Awesome. Do whatever you want. Make a great game. But give us the option to play Borderlands the same way.
The old way, yeah.
The old
Sure.
way. Like nobody's used to. I'm not saying these cutscenes are bad, but nobody's
It
used to
seems like
cutscenes.
they tailored it more towards newer players.
It's a very new addition to the old fan
It'd be
base.
like
So
suddenly
it-
if
yeah, you're-
Madden had a story.
They
to
kind
Madden,
of,
you know what I mean? People
it
would be
was
like,
an
"What
almost
the fuck?"
alien. Yeah, it was an almost alienation of the previous player base
Correct.
while they were appealing to the new one. Now that they've
A lot of games do that nowadays.
now obviously Borderlands fans are typically very dedicated, so it didn't really turn anybody away from the
Yeah,
game.
they're like, I don't like this,
But we all bitched about it a lot, and they said, "Okay, we're sorry. You can skip those now."
It's good on them.
It was definitely strange to me that they were just like, "Here's a movie too." Well, that's
I mean-
not what we wanted. We wanted a game where we go and randomly shoot outrageous enemies and get cool guns.
That's
We didn't want to
basically
watch a
like
show.
what
That's what
happened
Borderlands
to
is.
Fallout 76. It was like,
When they took the NPCs out,
yeah, everyone
That
was
was
like,
a mistake.
this. Everyone said this is a mistake, and they released it, and they're like, why is our game failing? And it
Well,
took them a while.
not
to
only
put
was it that,
NPCs
there were a
back in
lot of
there.
problems with it,
Sure.
other than the NPCs.
Me and Wayne played it for the first 4 hours that it was available. We played it, and
We couldn't even figure out how to like not talk.
that was
in
another
game.
game. Didn't tell you shit. It just basically threw you in there. Find the whoever they were. It's been so long since I played it, and then it's just like you walk around. We
Mhm.
couldn't find anyone. Like literally no other players even. We found like 2 dudes.
I do recommend Fallout 76 now. After Wastelanders has come out, it is a much better game.
I imagine it's better now.
It's way better now.
That was Fallout's bread and butter was NPCs. You got attached to the
Because it
characters.
was a single player game, and
Yeah,
then when they took
exactly.
it into the multiplayer thing, that's like the people that made Anthem. It's their first time making that game.
They overhyped it so
It was a
hard.
beautiful, just like
It's
Munch, a
because,
beautiful
like,
game. It looks
it
really
it does.
good.
It looks fantastic. They just screwed it up because it's the first time they make an attempt on this kind of game.
When you play, you'll play 3 missions. You're like, these are really cool, and then you realize that's all it is. You just do the missions, upgrade your suit slightly.
Yeah.
It doesn't do much. You just play the missions over and over again. You're like, this is boring as fuck.
Yeah, like if there's a
to
point,
fix that, they would have to completely rehaul it like No Man's Sky did.
Mhm. If there's a point to doing the missions, if there's a goal you're grinding for that then progresses the story or the gameplay, then I can
Yeah,
exactly.
give you a little leeway. I can justify that. But if your whole game is like Space Engineer, if it's literally just get resources to make a ship, to
And
get
then
more
what?
resources
Yeah,
to
and
make a
then
ship,
You
Yeah.
literally do. Well,
That
that's,
that was the thing I had. I was like,
especially there's
same thing.
apparently supposed to be like a hidden story in there. That's what the monolith things are for. I've never once seen
it just takes so much to
any
get.
gameplay on
Like,
figuring that out.
imagine without Wayne building in creative mode, building our huge base to do things. Imagine how long it would fucking take us to do
to
all
build
of
a
that.
base just like that.
Yeah.
And
Oh
you
my
got to
God.
think,
Or
like,
even like
I
a
built that
fraction
because
of
I
the size.
screwed up the first part of this. Like I screwed up the server.
Well, just like here, I'll give you some numbers. The first landing pad that I built next to the new base that Wayne made us in creative mode,
Where we had the
where we had the
multiple
the multiple pads, one pad for each person, because
Yeah.
we had 5 people playing, and then a bigger pad for my ship, just because the whole point of my ship was to pick up yours if it broke.
catch people. Yeah,
So, guess how much metal
Never
that
finished
that
that.
took us.
yeah.
Guess how much metal that took us. That would have taken us, I believe it was 42,000 metal. And there's no way. Wayne was just
Mining
like,
is slow in that
I'm
game.
fixing that in creative.
Very slow.
I mean, you can build the mining thing, which requires what? Metal, and like so it's like a never-ending loop of just you
Yeah.
constantly
Getting more
It's
resources to
like-
get more
And
resources.
I've played games that are like that are fun, but they have small diversities
Mhm.
where like you'll unlock something.
There
new
is something
thing
for
that's
you to
super,
do.
Yeah, Arc would be.
Yeah.
Every time you get on Arc, there's never a goal. It's like I'm gonna get on here. I'm gonna tame some dinos. I'm
Well,
gonna
like the
make a base.
the,
and
the
it's-
biggest
but
goal.
it's fun.
The biggest goal would be in Arc is to like battle the
bosses.
Yeah,
bosses
exactly.
at each.
which
at each
takes a lot. Those things kill everything.
Yes.
However,
Especially when you screw it up and you accidentally turn on the wrong shit.
that too. But when you're like running down a river and suddenly the map designated that Alpha River, and there's like 14 Alpha Raptors, and for
Correct.
the rest of the game, there's 14 Alpha Raptors. Then you like make a path of where you have to go, and it's more engaging than mine over here. Go to the.
That's also one thing. Like I like
whatever
how
it was.
a lot of times like you'll leave it, and if you don't leave the game, that dino will still be in that spot, like around that area when you come back, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, I can tame it now
If you
because I have
see
the stuff to do it.
a high level Rex, you get off. You're like, I don't have the things, but I'm gonna go gather some stuff. You go for maybe like even 2 hours. You're gathering junk, getting narco, getting a bunch of
Like when we found
darts.
that,
the Giga
yeah, we found that,
on the hill,
and then we were like, well, we need we can tame this thing like right now.
but we didn't. That was when we had to bring the boat around, right?
Yes, because we
it
didn't
took
have
us
all the
so
stuff
long
to do
get
it.
the boat around the island. If anyone knows Old Ark, they have motors now. You had to just
Yeah.
walk your houseboat
had to
around
just
the
sail
island
it.
real slow. You had to make sure we had all the preserving salts for the stuff to stay fresh.
Yep.
And it was an adventure.
Had to make sure we gathered it because we had to bring a dino. Like I had to bring a berry harvesting dino. I think it was a trike at the time. Because it was a stego.
Stego, we left it there.
I had the stego because I was
We
riding.
abandoned that
Well,
bitch.
my thing was I was big on making getting the best dinos to do the best thing for us.
Yep.
Mhm.
And
Mammoth
like egg
for
harvesting
wood
and stuff like that. Like our first base was fantastic. Like we stacked a whole bunch of stuff. I made
At
sure we gathered everything.
The
we
base
needed
at the
to.
Oasis? Is that what you're talking about? On our
Bef-
server that
'cause
we got
bef-
kicked off?
Yeah, after we got to the Oasis, that's when everything started to pick up. But before that, we were at the waterfall
Yep,
by
with
the Red
Crocs.
Tower,
Yep.
and we always had an issue with certain things. And we also had it
Two
was
of our
me,
friends.
you, I think Johnny,
Me, you, Johnny. Johnny wasn't
And
on
then,
often, but when he was on, he
two
helped.
of our other friends that we had from work. They were playing with us. They hardly ever got on and did anything
And when they
useful.
get on, I got on once. I had a video on my Xbox. I got on once, and I think it was Steven
he was riding your
was riding my
T-Rex.
T-Rex, and I was like, just walked over to him. There's no in-game chat, I don't think, right then. Walked over to him, stared at him. He walked in a circle, hopped off. Immediately, I shot him in the chest with a trank. Hopped on my T-Rex, ate him, walked away. I was like, no, do not
Yeah.
ride my T-Rex
Well, it's
while
like
I'm not on.
because like they only got on that hardly do anything.
They just wanted to fuck around. They're not more. They're
Yeah.
not like dedicated. Like
Survival gameplay.
yeah, like we try to get shit done. We want to do things.
Set a goal for yourself.
Yeah,
like,
that's what
We'll
we,
have fun
every
along the
time
way.
we got on, we set a goal for it.
Yeah.
and that's
like,
what I think.
Making the raising first breeding a Spino, making the Spino
Dude.
grow up took literally 13 hours for me and Wayne across the night, and we didn't even accomplish anything because we realized it was going to take
Like
17 more hours.
we sat
after
there
that.
and we took hour shifts.
I watched it. I
He
watched
was
a movie.
he watched a movie. I went and I tamed a Quetzal on my own.
Mm-hmm. While
Like,
I was
in,
watching,
like,
it was like
in
a break. Like that
In
was
like
his break.
OG arc, that was hard to do
You had to pick a scorpion
because like I had to
out, right?
fly with a scorpion and hit it a few times.
The scorpion had to hit it from the back, hit the Quetzal when you're flying over it, which the Quetzals are fast as fuck.
And like you have to keep up with it. So I'm flying with my Argentavis, flying after it with my Scorpion, hitting it every chance I could. And then I finally got it because I landed on a mountain and I'm like, I'm just going to shoot a couple trank darts at it. And then I hit it with the trank darts and it fell. And I was like, I got it. And I didn't say anything to Mikey until I came back with the
I was
Quetzal.
like, that's another Quetzal. And I'm sitting there, I'd sit on my couch, I'd make food, have my TV tray, put a movie on, and I would just have my controller, and I'd just be tapping X or whatever, and just like, I knew it's just feeding the Spino, because you have to constantly feed it or it'll die.
Mhm.
So you're sitting there feeding it.
Because like that was during the process of just the egg hatching.
Yeah. And you have to constantly light a fire and turn on the air conditioner, and light a fire, turn on the air conditioner, light a couple fires.
Because
the
it's very
egg will
temperamental. It
fluctuate.
won't, like, it only incubates at
Yeah.
certain temperatures.
Breeding's a huge thing for like a clan to do when you have multiple people
Correct.
that keep eyes on it. But
Like,
two people doing it, no.
When
Should not
you
happen.
have your own server, you can change it. But that's before we knew, like, you could change it on Xbox. You could not change it.
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing you could do to change, like, the breeding process on the Xbox originally.
So it was OG.
So it was, like, hard to do.
It literally, like, I think overall time is 47 hours. Was 47 hours.
Yeah.
Real life time.
we
not
ended,
like
we ended
in-game
up just, like,
47 hours.
like, do we need to go to sleep?
Mm-hmm.
So we just killed the
it was-
Spino and
it
got
was- well,
off.
We didn't know. We were researching. I was researching it as we were doing it. So we're in egg stage. Like, oh, it's only taking 3 hours for egg stage. It gets to like adolescent, tiny little dude.
Yeah.
Then it gets to like a teen
Because
stage.
you have to get it to a juvenile before
Yeah.
it'll feed
And when
eat
it
on
gets
its
to
own.
that, it was like, all right, now 17 hours of that, and you have to force feed it while it's that. So I was like, we have to and it moves. So you
Force
can't
feed
keep
it until it turns into a juvenile, yeah.
So I was like, so we follow this fucking thing around and just force feed it for 17 fucking hours. I can't watch a movie or anything. I just have to walk with it and click, make sure it has food. And I was like, no. So I put like shot it with a shotgun or something.
Yeah,
I was like, we're done.
it was time for us to go to sleep. but
After
we've already been
17
up
hours.
for so
Luckily,
long.
that was when I got fired from Menards, so I didn't have shit to do. The
My
amount
favorite
of time
part
I spent there.
about you having to dedicate 17 hours to feeding another living thing is that you're a dad.
Yeah,
Well,
and
it's-
that's easier. Being a dad is easier.
You don't
than
have
sharing
to
that
force
stupid
feed it
spine
all the
out.
time.
Yeah, I can
Like-
get a squeezy down. She'll take it and go sit on the couch and eat it. And I'll hang
I'm
out
tired
with
of
her.
feeding this thing. Blah!
Like it's just like nowadays in Ark, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
In the original Ark, dude, it was hard.
Well, yeah, we
I own
started.
Ark, but I've never played Ark.
We can play. Me and Wayne, we went and play again.
I won it for a while.
I
And
can
that's
I can change our Minecraft server to an Ark server.
and that's a
'Cause
one
we're not
of-
doing
Rachel
anything.
got Minecraft
Did she? So,
on her computer. She bought a laptop, you know.
oh, so now we got to.
I was teaching her how to play earlier.
So now we got to
Nice.
keep Minecraft.
And that's
open.
one of the things that I was thinking about earlier. Like when we were talking about space engineers and there's nothing to do. We just talked about Ark. You guys just talked about Ark for, just 15 minutes right there because there's stuff to do. There's goals to meet. You can decide, hey, I'm going to go get a dinosaur. Hey, I'm going to build a base. Hey, we need
Yeah.
food. Hey, we're going to go tame stuff to fight the boss. In Space Engineers, it's just, well,
Space
I'm going to make a
engineer,
ship. Oh, I'm going to make a bigger ship. the only
it
goal
has
you
potential. That's all.
It's
has
got
a ton of
potential.
potential, but they just need to
But
add.
as
There is
of
no,
right
like,
now,
actual
no,
in-game
as of
doing
right
it.
now, the gameplay is got to build a ship.
That's like if you were to
I mean,
buy.
the ship might work. The ship might not work.
Yeah, physics-
It's super complicated.
Physics might decide to just not cooperate.
which I like. That's what I like about Tarkov. It's
It's a
super
complicated
You have to understand what you're doing. You can't just toss some guns
I'm
together.
so
and be like,
excited for the
I'm
wipe.
leaving and just get your ass wrecked.
Wipe's gonna be nice because I'm gonna be on it all the time.
The wipe's coming
We
up.
need to be on it, otherwise we'll fall
Correct.
behind.
Oh, absolutely. The wipe's coming up. I'm hoping with the wipe they introduce more team play mechanics like being able to help you with medicines and healing. Because if they do that, I can take on a more support role because we have found out that I am not a good frontline guy.
Needs,
I think I
you're
would.
You're just not a good fighter in that game.
I would be fine with strictly. I don't know how they would do it. There's no real way you can, but strictly in-game comms. I think that'd be cool. There's no way you can do that. You can't make
Yeah.
Discord not work when
I
you're
mean,
playing Tarkov.
I'm
but
fine with like being able to do Discord. I just wish they would also add a proximity chat, kind of, depending on the situation.
The
'Cause,
only
like,
reason I
sometimes
think they
it'll be
don't
nice.
is for realism.
Correct.
That's the reason I could say it's not a realistic game. It's a what's it called?
It's a simulator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to simulate. They don't. It's not realistic, like 100% real, because obviously.
Because if you want realism, it's very Tarkov-esque, but it's more realistic. You have squads, platoons,
Mhm.
brigades.
Yeah.
You want to play a game called Squad.
I was gonna say
Everything I've
squad.
seen on Squad is amazing. It's basically Tarkov.
You have
but
pilots,
bigger.
like they can
You've got
only.
pilots,
They are pilots.
You have a
that's what they do.
commander who has his own channels. Like when he's doing a group chat, he can either talk to his squad or he can talk to specifically squad leaders and no one else can hear him. Squad leaders
Yeah.
have a direct channel to him or to just their squad.
That's similar to old Battlefield 2 on the computer. There would be the commander, and he could give orders to all
Oh
your
yeah, like because
squads.
like the
And there was
commander roles a
designated
lot. It used to be a
machine
lot of fun.
gunner and
I think
regular
if
soldier.
we had some time to dedicate to it, if we all got squad, we could probably get into that game, and that would be a good in
That'd be
between
fun.
Tarkov
I've watched a
wipes.
lot since I've liked a lot of Tarkov stuff on like Instagram. Squad always pops.
The
that
two
and
people-
Insurgency.
I haven't watched a whole lot of Insurgency Sandstorm. I've heard about it. Somebody wanted me to get it. and
It's
I
like a
didn't.
slightly more realistic
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
But
That's
it's
all it is.
it's a Tarkov styled TDM.
Yeah. You're in a set area. There's match time. There's scores.
Gotcha.
But
And it's like
the
realistic
people
gunplay.
the people I watch for Squad are Operator Drewski and Karmacut.
Operator Drewski does a lot of Tarkov stuff
Yeah.
too, doesn't he?
He does. He does
I
Tarkov
don't,
stuff
even
too.
know, I don't even know who those two people
I just
are.
see him because I watch Clean. And when I
So-
see-
I mean, I know who Clean is.
Karmacut doesn't play a lot of Tarkov. He did have a series that just went on the last few weeks that was starting new accounts on Tarkov that was trying to help out newer players. Like my brother watched it a lot, and I think it really did help him. He's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
That's the Geeksay guy
But
I watch on Twitch. He's primarily helps. new
but
players.
Karmacut is mostly a squad player, and he's a fantastic
Is that you?
squad player. I don't think it's me.
I don't think it's you.
It's not me.
Not me. Somebody's alarm's going on outside, so
Really
you
cool.
can't hear it. It's a car alarm.
It's off.
It's gone now.
Thank God.
But yeah, I like people that like Pestily did it for a while.
Yep, Pestili's
I
really
mean,
good.
I don't want to be that guy, but before he got huge, he did it more consistently. Now it's more about hardcore and
Mhm.
start from new accounts and like 0 to 100s or whatever.
Mikey and I both know that we would probably like Squad. I think if you want to give Squad a look-see, I would definitely recommend Karma Cut or Operator Drewski to check it out because they do an excellent job of representing the potential of the gameplay.
It's just, imagine Tarkov with a huge map, and there's, what was that game? Operation Firestorm? It was a single-player game, but it was basically a military RPG.
Like a milsim almost.
Basically, but it was single-player, so you get in, you determine your objectives. I'm going to go to this place, you scout it out. You realize there's what's there. You're like, oh, if I hit this, it'll cut off supply to these people. It was like a sandbox, like a military sandbox.
It's a tactical game.
Yeah, you go in and you have to do that.
If you want to see the more tactical side, the more command structure based, there's someone to answer to, someone giving orders. Karma Cut's the guy to watch. He's much more tactical, and this is what we're doing. You guys go do this. Mortars do this. Operator Drewski is a little bit more, I'm just a player in the squad, and I'm going to kind of do some stuff.
Just do whatever.
He's a little bit more casual with it.
Yeah.
But you
like
get to see both sides of
play.
it.
Some people, I've watched videos where like the helicopter pilot will fly, and he's being a little goofy, and the squad leader will be like, listen, dude, shut the fuck up, drop down, because we're about, like, they're serious about it. We're under attack, or we're taking fire.
Yeah, speaking of pilots, I saw a Karma Cut video where the whole mission is they had to go in and rescue, I believe it was a VIP, and one squad was in the middle of town protecting this VIP, and they're surrounded by terrorists. And it's like 40 versus 40 gameplay. So the terrorists were all players. Mm-hmm. And your good guys, your military, are all players. And they had one pilot who just said, screw it. Screw the commands, balls to the wall, everyone died, I'm going in. Fair. Everybody who he rescued, he went all the way back to base, dropped them off because they were retreating. The terrorists basically won that game.
Yeah.
They're like, there's nothing we can do. The insurgents have total control. We're going to lose. And the pilot said, fuck that. And he flew in and picked everybody up off of a roof and saved them all and won the game.
No one dying today.
Wow.
Like a man. He avoided every rocket.
That's like some Battlefield shit. Like, you get those small moments in Battlefield every once in a while where, like, you're under attack and then you're heli respawns and your really good pilot will fly over, take out a tank, kill some dudes.
It's great when you have a really good pilot.
Yeah, he decided, he's like, you know what, normally I'm just a gamer, but today I'm a man.
Yeah, he's like, I'm doing it.
You know what men typically decide after that kind of factor? That they're hungry. Where should they go to eat, Mark?
You definitely need a good bite to eat after that. And the place I would suggest for our listeners is W.E. Sullivan's Irish Pub and Fare up in Peoria Heights. Absolutely fantastic people, fantastic cooks, fantastic service, and better yet, fantastic food.
That's the best part.
It's the best part. Anything that you could imagine being delicious in your stomach, you probably got it. You need some noodles, they've got the best mac and cheese you could ask for.
Very wide selection there.
Very phenomenal mac and cheese. I can attest to that one personally.
Yeah, we got a cheese fiend in the house.
I'm a cheese fiend.
Animal.
At one time, he got a burger with 8 different cheeses on it, and I paid for
they
it.
know about this.
Yeah. No, that's not going away. I'm going to keep remembering
bring it up every
that.
time we talk
Every
about
time.
cheese.
Listen, I don't want to have to justify paying $16 for a burger for you ever again.
Gosh, hopefully everything opens back up soon.
I really do hope it opens back up. But luckily enough for you guys, you don't have to wait for Sullivan's to open. They're open right now. You can get them Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 2, I believe it is, for their lunch, and then 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock for dinner. And their whole menu is open. You just call them ahead or get a hold of them on Grubhub or Order to Eat or go to their website and post an order, and you can go pick it up or have it delivered to you.
Website for you on screen.
So what next? You know what? I got one. Speaking of food, if you could only eat one thing forever, it doesn't have to be specifically that. It can be variations. For example,
like what type of food?
Yeah, if you pick burgers, so you can have any kind of burger you want, but you can only eat burgers. Yeah, what would you eat?
I need to think. Wayne, if you,
I could easily do burgers, dude. I could easily do burgers.
I know mine.
Burgers would be freaking perfect.
I'll let Wayne elaborate.
I'm gonna throw a curveball.
Just think about it. Like every time we go out to eat, what do I typically get?
Burger.
Just get a burger.
Yeah, you're a burger guy.
Because I'm a burger kind of guy. Back when I was a kid, I used to be a hot dog kind of guy. Thanks. But
you look like a hot dog kind of guy.
Used to eat hot dogs when I was a kid.
Got some hot dogs in them.
But I've grown into liking burgers more.
Grown out of the hot dogs.
What was yours, Mikey?
Burritos. I just thought about it because you can make so much out of. You can make a burger burrito. You know what I mean? You can make.
Could, yeah.
Dessert. I've made dessert burritos before. You can make any kind of burrito, really. Breakfast burrito, lunch burrito, brunch burrito, dinner burrito. You can make all kinds of burritos. It's just, I think the versatility. I wouldn't choose like chicken wings.
Oh no, that would
You
be
eat
awful.
chicken wings one way,
Exactly.
dude.
Like, you can have different sauces, but that doesn't change the
You
one.
can eat them fried. You can eat them
But with like a
oven
burrito,
fried, deep fried. That's about
burrito,
it.
there's like different meats. You can get different veggies, sauces, anything in it. You can chop it up so good.
I'm gonna throw you a curveball.
What do you got?
Lasagna.
I hate lasagna as is.
You hate lasagna.
Mhm.
I think lasagna covers the groups. It's got the sauce.
I
It's
get
got the
you.
pasta, the
I'm
noodle.
with
You
you.
can add meat, cheese.
Yeah.
One of my favorite lasagnas isn't called lasagna. It's a Greek thing. It's got eggplant on it, and it's got a creamy orange sauce that looks like cheese. Do not be fooled. It isn't.
You lost me at eggplant, bro.
It is delicious, though.
You lost
I
me
love
at,
it.
at lasagna.
Eggplants are gross.
Eggplant can be bad. You have
It
to
can
cook
be
it right.
bad, but I've had good.
Let me tell you, there's a Greek restaurant up in Rochester where I lived called Opa Opa. Oh my god, some of the best food. Some of the best Greek food I've ever had.
Speaking of food, going to Rochester Monday.
Yep, I'm going to take Wayne up to Minnesota with me.
Are we going to that ramen place that you sent me pictures of?
Listen, I got to get a hold of Lincoln, and I got to ask him
Mikey can't go.
if he's open. Mikey, have you seen any of the pictures I sent you?
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we had ours, you sent Wayne a couple pictures of ramen, and
Yeah.
I was like,
'Cause here's the
"That
thing.
look good."
Wayne and Mikey went out to Colorado and were bragging about this place that they got to eat once. And I'm like,
Osaka ramen.
No, it's so good though.
And I thought, oh, damn.
Spicy miso
If
all
only
day.
I had a place 2 blocks from my apartment that I can eat every day.
Hey, fuck this guy,
You
right?
gotta
Trying to
think, like-
gatekeep the ramen heaven.
Osaka ramen. Fantastic place.
Atmosphere also.
But yeah, I can.
It was super cool. It was,
Also, they had little Godzillas on each of the shirts, which really went over well with Wayne.
yes.
I'm gonna have to.
I'm a
I'm gonna have to call
Godzilla
up.
dude.
I'll call up because if he's open, I don't know if he's open for coming in and sitting down because that's the best
I'll
part.
eat it to go. I don't care.
But I'm gonna give him a call. If he's open, we will absolutely eat it because it is amazing.
Realistically, if we go,
If you can get to go,
you can buy Mikey a bowl to go.
if you would bring me one back, I would greatly.
A bowl.
appreciate it.
Okay, so what do you want a bowl of though? Because
What-
they have a couple options.
What's your
Unless we
I know-
just,
yeah, I
I,
think
mean, never mind. That'd be takes way too much long in the day.
You
'Cause-
eat way more than things than I do. I'm pretty sure. So what do you get though?
So the thing I usually get there is a sushi bowl. It
Nope.
is the one I get is all fried. It's all deep fried stuff. It's all deep fried, so it's like shrimp tempura, some deep fried scallops,
Okay.
deep fried fish. I don't think it's fish. I think it's eel, deep fried
I
eel.
do like
It's
shrimp.
not bad.
And then it's just a bowl of white rice with some veggies slapped on it and their own his own sauces that he mixes up. He throws yum yum in there, some teriyaki, and then he's got his own
I
sauce that he
love
mixes
some
up and
yum
puts in there. It's got a little bit of spice. It is amazing.
That sounds good.
That's the one I usually get. But he
But
also
I don't
has
know how well it would be
he has ramen.
Reheated.
hours later reheated.
He's got traditional style ramen, udon, and he has pho.
Well, the thing we would do,
I think I might just
we
get-
would get it on our way out of
If you guys could, I would just get
Well,
a traditional ramen.
It's gonna be a 5-hour drive.
That's why I was like, I don't think I really want fish.
It'll be not fish, probably not fish.
But
Regular
we can
ramen.
get
So-
you, do you want? But here's, do you want like tonkatsu or what? Do you
I-
want pork or beef?
I'd say probably pork.
Pork.
While we're discussing this, drop your favorite ramen in the kind
Definitely.
of comments there.
Favorite
boys.
ramen and favorite ramen place.
Favorite ramen
Where
place.
it's at?
My favorite ramen place is Osaka Ramen.
I mean, that's really the only one I've been to. So
Mine so far is Wabi Sabi up in Rochester, Minnesota.
But anyways, back to what I'm getting.
Back to what you're getting.
Traditional ramen, traditional pork ramen.
So you want pork ramen?
Thinking pork ramen.
I can't believe we're taking an order right now.
What's spicy? Do they have
That's
spicy?
the best way to do it.
He doesn't have a spicy option for it,
No.
but you can get like sweet and sour soup or like miso soup or something. That's a
Miso.
lot of liquid though.
That is a lot of liquid. That
Like
makes
we have
it
to
too-
transport that in a car without incident.
I want to know how
Wouldn't
he
be that
puts
hard.
it. How does he put it? Is it in a plastic container? Or is it?
Well, it's a soup, so I would assume, yeah.
Realistically, just get whatever you want. Mark's paying for it.
You're right.
I mean, yeah, I have to pay for whatever he eats.
Spicy miso pork ramen.
So
Some miso pork
Got it.
ramen, please.
miso and pork ramen.
Realistically, what we'll do, I'll take a cooler.
If he's open.
I'll take a cooler if he's open. Just in case, I'll take a cooler anyway.
While we're up there, we got to stop by Forager and try and pick up some
Yes.
beers.
Yes.
So we've got stuff to add to the wall.
Add up to the
And
shelf.
something that I can bring for my boss because 4 times I've come back from Minnesota and 4 times I've forgotten to bring him a beer.
You've been upset about it, huh?
He's not really upset about it, but
He's disappointed in you, though.
no, I just
I
feel
would
like
be.
if I
Speaking
bring
of-
him a beer, I can butter him up.
These shelves and stuff. I think we're gonna take some pictures today,
Yeah, I got the
and I'm
camera with me.
gonna throw them up on the Times Up Pod Instagram.
That's right, we have an Instagram now.
If you want to
boys.
head over to the Times Up Pod Instagram, give us a follow, like some pictures. We'll be constantly updating when we release videos there, and videos or just podcasts whenever we get videos.
Mhm.
And pictures, random pictures of things we do and stuff about the podcast.
Got a Twitter. We'll throw some stuff up there every now and then. Probably not as often though.
Yeah, I'm not.
We're still new to the Twitter.
Yeah, I'm an
We're just-
Instagram guy, so I will
We're just
definitely
new to
be
the social media scene.
using the Instagram.
Yeah, I don't really appreciate
I
social
think
media that much.
After everything, I've posted the most on social medias.
I'm pretty sure I've posted 5 times in the last 4 years.
I have
I used to post when I was in
430
high
something
school.
posts on Instagram.
I used to post a lot when I was in high school when I was a big sad boy.
When I was a big sad boy on Facebook,
Now
I was
you're just a
definitely
big boy.
Yeah.
I'm just big boy.
He's no longer a sad boy. I post on the Instagram because I like pictures and I don't like seeing people bitch about random stuff.
True.
Hate Facebook.
Yeah, I'm just not on. I mean, I'm online, but I'm usually just not on Facebook or
I think
social
it's a good
medias.
thing not to be on.
It helps out with your regular daily routine
Mhm.
stuff without looking at
I've looked at how much time I spend on Instagram all the time, and I'm just like, Jesus, 4 hours of my day
Yeah,
going.
I just don't get sucked into other people's stuff.
I don't. It's guns. I see a gun, I'm like, oh, it's a nice gun. I like look at it, break down the parts,
Yep.
start looking at the prices, and I'm like, oh, I could build that.
gotta know about it.
Yeah.
This is like preferable
Yeah.
for me. Like a lot of my stuff on Instagram now is like guns and stuff like that now too.
Yeah, I don't even have an Instagram.
I do.
I didn't have a Twitter until I found out that
I don't think Wayne
We
has an Instagram.
I have a Twitter.
I didn't have an Instagram until Mikey started working at Menards.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
When I
And then
see
he
it,
told
because
me,
Wayne went
he's like,
and
hey, you
tagged me
should
in
get an
things.
Instagram.
Yeah, I made a Twitter 2 weeks ago to follow our Twitter.
That's when I
Yeah.
started.
I don't use my personal Twitter.
The only time I used Twitter was when I was talking shit to a guy on a Star City's Game YouTube channel. When we were at
we were at Gen Con.
I was
Yes!
sending him pictures of him saying, oh, imagine sucking that bad.
And the best part was like he noticed them and started replying.
And then like he would like look around trying to figure out who it was.
Because every
But he
5
could
minutes,
never know because it wasn't my picture, it wasn't me.
That's
every 5
hilarious.
minutes we'd snap a picture of him from a slightly different angle and then at him on Twitter, and he would just be like, "Where are these guys?"
Where are these
At
guys?
one point, he was like, "Come out and fight me, you coward," because he was playing Magic with other people. So he was
Yeah.
like, "Let's do it. Let's duel."
Would have.
Okay.
I would have simply, but I mean, I'm gonna be honest, he'd kick my ass in Magic.
Oh, more than likely,
Well,
those guys' entire business is Magic.
Decently good
that
name.
deck I just got done, I don't
Magic.
know so much anymore.
We don't even know what that deck does.
No, it does a
Nobody
lot.
knows right now.
Nobody has actually seen it play out. I haven't even actually seen it play out.
My brother got to see my competitive deck play
I
out.
was testing it out the other night on Tapped Out, and it was a turn 4 win. And I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. I didn't know it could do that.
Yeah, my brother got
Is
to
that
see...
when I was with Nicole?
Yeah.
Yeah, you kept saying, like, wow, I didn't know. He said, don't tell me this is going to be a turn 4 win.
I
He
built,
said, wow, that's crazy.
I built a deck.
The best part is, Mark, you'd have been, if it was a game I played you against, you'd have been so pissed.
Probably, if it's a mill deck.
It wasn't. I just would have infected you to death.
That annoys me, but not as much as mill.
What's a mill deck?
So a
Uh,
mill is when you force your opponent to put cards from their library straight into their graveyard. So they
Oh,
don't
you've
even,
told me this.
they don't even get to draw them. They don't even get to have them
Yeah.
in their hand. It's just like, well, that's gone now
You get
immediately.
nothing, yeah. You literally basically can't do anything.
I have a whole deck about that.
Pretty annoying.
Fantastic.
And I have 6 whole decks that
like the
hate
deck
that.
I have, we'll put it into your graveyard, or it'll put it into your hand and you can't use them anyway.
Either one.
That's just the way it be. It'll make
Yeah.
you draw all your cards, or it'll make you discard all your cards.
I have 6 decks that hate that.
That's their weakness.
For reference, I only have 6 decks.
All of the decks hate it.
Yeah. There was
My competitive deck might not care as much, but the rest of them super care.
I mean, your competitive deck, I hit the right piece, and then it'll care.
Well, I mean, if
That's
you're
just how it
exiling it all.
Yep, I
Yeah.
can do that.
If you ley line, then yeah, absolutely. Well, there's exactly. Hold on. It depends. If you ley line while my combo's happening, I still don't care. If you ley line,
I wouldn't wait for your combo to
if
go
you
off.
ley line before, I might care.
I
That's
might care.
it's much more detrimental to me if it's before I start the combo. If it's after, I don't give a shit.
What we need to do is we need to get you to play some Secret Hitler at some point.
I would love to play that game. The game sounds
That'd be
super
fun.
fun.
It is super fun.
I like those kind of games.
Just as soon as we get a chance, because like waiting for Dan's shop to open back up to where he can actually be open and have people inside.
Yep.
That'll be amazing. Because
That's
then we
one
can
of
get
the
some
things
stuff going on.
we're gonna go do up in Minnesota, questionably. So, the shop that we're gonna go to, one of the main reasons Wayne is going with me is because there's a shop up there, so he can play for a little bit. And they say they're open for up to 10 people in the back at the tables. They're big enough that they can probably have more than 10 people in there, but they only want 10 at the tables just to
Keep it safe.
conform to the CDC recommendations. However, I don't think they're technically supposed to be open.
Yeah, probably not.
But we're gonna gamble. We're gonna see how it goes on Monday because they're open every day, Monday through Sundays. So we're
Tell
gonna
you
play
what,
that game.
I get up there and I can't play Magic. I'm gonna be one big sad boy.
Back to high school.
He's gonna
He's
get-
on Facebook again.
He's gonna get back on that Instagram.
I'm gonna be real upset because that's the whole reason I'm going.
It's not like you have anything better to do.
This is true.
Tell him
mean-
you have a job.
I could do a lot better things.
Tell him you have a job. Lie to him.
Lie to him. Lie to these people.
I don't. Sorry. It's not my fault.
Well,
He's not wrong about that.
It's really not.
You
Like,
did.
I have no control over this situation. I quit Menards because that place fucking
Yeah, he
sucks.
probably would have a job. He'd just be a sad boy again.
Like, I'd be fucking depressed again, and I don't want to enter that stage of my life ever again.
Well, Facebook. Why did I say Facebook?
I don't know. 'Cause
Best
we were-
Buy.
you just going back to that.
Yeah.
Best Buy's been like a
He's
real
depressed,
like,
and that's where
turn
it's at.
for me. I've really enjoyed it a lot. I enjoy most of the people there.
I mean, you worked at Menards for how long? 7 years, something like that.
Almost
More than
8.
that.
Yeah,
almost
dumb
8
stuff.
years.
Dumb stuff like that.
And it's just like I got to that point where it's like nothing is different and it's all shitty
Yeah.
and you all suck.
Every time I go in there, I see the small people change,
Yeah,
but I see the same exact
it's
bulk
it's
of
the
people
same managers no matter what because they all refuse to move up.
there. And also, when I go into any department, it's
Like-
the same exact as when I was a manager.
Like some
there.
of them, I understand. Like if you don't have aspirations of moving up, I totally understand. Like Keith. Keith
Yeah.
was my manager for a while. Loved the guy to death.
Which
He
he's in a
doesn't
fine-
move up because he doesn't have the right opportunity to move up. Like he would only move up in a specific situation.
And it's not like he doesn't make decent money. He
No,
makes
I mean, he
decent
makes all
money.
right.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like crazy.
Yeah,
but
it's
he
not
makes
crazy.
But he can
Yeah.
afford to live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He has no reason to move up, but if
Yeah,
the
because
chance-
they don't give you a
specific
super big
changes.
incentive to move up. Like the only reason he would want to move up is if he got to be a buyer for product for flooring specifically.
I mean, for reference, I make $1.70 more now as a full time
Than you did as a manager.
than I did as a manager at Menards, and I have 70% less responsibility at Best
Yeah.
Buy.
It's they hold you up to like way higher standards than they need to hold you up to.
Speaking of making more, I have to ask my boss about my employment status because, as far as I was aware, I was getting hired back as a part timer, but I'm getting paid $1 more than I was when I worked full time for him the same time a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
For something like that, I would
Do they
just-
have
I
some
wouldn't
kind of
say.
pay
I'm
for
getting paid more.
I
for
would
right
leave
now? Like some jobs
That
have,
way,
like I'm
I
getting
leave
paid
it so that they
$2.50.
don't pay you less.
Well, no, I don't
I don't
want
think they
to.
can. I don't think
No, they
can.
can't
They
down my
can't.
pay. I just want to know the status of my employment. Because if I'm full time again, that means I have benefits. I
Yeah.
have sick days,
That's
vacation
true.
days.
He has all these things.
If I'm a part timer,
just
You
makes
don't
more
have-
money.
I just need to know what benefits I
Yeah.
do and don't have.
He just needs to know where his what is he?
Yeah, because if I'm a full timer, then I need to know that if somebody if one of our
Vacation,
part timers comes and says, "Hey, what do I do?" and if Jesse and Kemp aren't around, that I can be like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this."
Yeah, you
Because
can't
if I'm just a
do
part
that.
timer, I don't
I'm a
want to tell
part-timer,
anybody
dude.
what to do.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to tell anybody what to do in the first place, but
I just
If someone's looking,
I just hope this whole
for
thing gets
something to
over
do.
with already, so that way I can have my job back.
that'd be cool.
It'd be fantastic. Sick of all these people that can't do my job doing my job.
I made an executive decision today.
People suck.
We have a new kid with us. I mean, he's not super new. He's been there for like a month or more, maybe. But he's new to the job as far as I'm concerned. And he's just out of high school. Literally was in high school a week ago. As graduated like Thursday. And he's not as fast at mowing as everyone else. He's just not comfortable with it, not
Yeah.
using the machines. He's slower, and that's fine. And with practice, he'll get faster. But today
Just something he hasn't done before.
we had to mow something that we normally mow during the weekdays. We never mowed on the weekends, but we had to mow it today. And so we mow at certain angles, and we call those angles 10, 12, and 2. So at 10 o'clock, we mow it at a
And
45.
you mow at a golf course.
Yes,
So
a
it's
golf course.
it's
got to be straight.
It's got to be nice,
You
yeah.
can't
It's
scalp.
not just a backlot piece of garbage.
And I think
Go
that's why
over.
he goes so slow. Is he
It
doesn't
ain't
want
my
to mess it
yard.
I
up.
mean, like even I went slow when I mowed just Caterpillar and shit, where it's
Yeah.
just like cut our grass, and I was like, I don't think I'll ever learn how to drive this
Yep.
machine.
Like all of our
That way.
blades are set to very specific
Yeah,
heights because we're a private golf course, so it's got to be, and it's PGA
People pay
qualified.
people pay good money.
Yeah, like it
To
is.
be
We
there.
have a
Golf
PGA pro at our course, so like it has to meet specifications. And I think he's just scared. He doesn't want to mess up.
Yeah, he doesn't want to fuck up.
But we mow at 10 o'clock, which is a 45-degree angle towards the left. So I guess it's not 45. I guess it's what is it, 140, 135.
the opposite.
We mow at 90 degrees. We mow at 12 o'clock, straight up and down. And then we mow at 2 o'clock, which is 45 degrees to the right.
To make it nice.
And
Look to it.
today we were technically supposed to mow at 10. But because of how long it takes him to mow, I made an executive decision. I said, listen, I'm not trying to be mean. I do not want to be here for 4 hours. We're mowing at 12. Because it's much quicker to just go in a straight line up and down.
People did that when I first started working. I was mowing my patch, and they would be like, "You start leaf blowing. I'll mow this." So they're like, "You're slow as fuck, and I won't be here this long."
By the time he had
That's
mowed,
almost any job you do, though.
we have 4 things on the course called shorties, and what they are is an extremely short fairway that is basically an approach all the way to the green. So instead of a fairway mower doing it, I do it on the T-mower, on the lower mower,
little guy.
which has to be more exact, more specific. The fairway just kind of stays in the same spot and goes straight. We have to mow it with our smaller mowers, and they're big. They're basically half of a fairway. By the time he had mowed 4 normal things and started 1, I had mowed 8 things and almost finished 1. And so that's why I was like, we're just going to mow 12.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing against him. He's just got to get more comfortable with
he's
the game.
Mark's over here skipping, cutting corners.
But he's just not as fast.
He'll get there eventually.
It'll just take some
Takes time. Like I said,
all
when I first started
all
mowing,
new people start out not knowing everything.
I didn't think I could mow at all when I first started driving the 0 turn. I was like, this thing would move. I couldn't get it to go straight.
So that's my favorite
right.
part. If we had 0 turns, I still think he wouldn't be on the mower if we had 0 turns.
Really?
Because I've driven 0 turns, and 0 turns on those would be very questionable. Instead of 0 turns, we use a thing called a triplex, and so it's 3 rotors.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3 rotary mowers, spaced 2 in the front, 1 in the center, in the middle of the machine, and then it's just a regular steering wheel.
Yeah. That makes more sense to
It makes
accuracy.
it a little bit easier, though.
Yeah, because mine just goes fast.
Yeah, and it cuts much cleaner lines.
Goes fast, cuts nice. Like it cuts fast, goes fast. We can get huge lots on really quick. It didn't look that great.
Yeah,
you have your like back and forth, but that's it.
When I worked for the park district, we would mow our softball and baseball diamonds with a 0 turn.
Mm-hmm. I mowed 1. We mowed a high school, and we mowed there. And we had to. That's the only place we had to cut specific. Like we have to do this.
Because you have to do it a certain way.
Yeah, you have to
make
the baseball.
We had to do the pattern.
Good.
You had to checker it out, which it looks harder than it is. It's not that hard.
It's literally you just go one way, then go do the exact same thing backwards the other way. That's all it is.
I mean, that's not terrible.
No, it's easy.
It's just a lot.
When you first get on, you're like, "How the fuck?" And then you do it once, and you're like, "Oh,
yeah,
this is how you do."
It's back and forth, and then up,
and then back
again back and forth.
You're like, "Oh wow."
It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it.
Yeah.
That's not bad, though.
What else has a lot of back and forth? Board games.
Board games? Where can you get them?
Talking about Cabbages and Kings. Cabbages and Kings, board game store, up in the Heights. Dan and Stephanie Crawford, fantastic people with a fantastic store, offering a service that a lot of us need to get back to. We're all sucked up into our social media and our computers right now that maybe we should just get back to playing.
The video games are good, but you can't beat that textile feeling of a nice
maybe just get
board
back
game.
to a nice board game or tabletop game. A family game night, if you will.
I'm having one of those tomorrow.
Having one of those
It's
tomorrow.
just Yahtzee, no crazy board games.
The return of your dad and his Yahtzee climax.
But it's still a board game.
Yeah.
Sit with family.
It is a tabletop game. That is
But
the
if
best
you want
part.
to get almost any kind of game you can imagine, now you're not going to get your Walmart or your Target style games. You're not going to find a traditional Monopoly or checkers there.
Yahtzee.
What you're going to find are
Super Yahtzee.
you're going to
Yeah,
well, there is a
it's on
Super
Sean's.
Yahtzee.
I know.
There's a German Super Yahtzee, and I love that game. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I like playing it too. Super
But
fun.
They came to longer
I actually
exist
learned
for me.
Yahtzee from that game.
but you can find all sorts of tabletop games there. You can find what is it? Just One. You can find
Just One's a ton of fun.
You can find Werewords, Rhino Hero, Goblet Gobbers is kind of like
It's like
three-dimensional
tic-tac-toe.
tic-tac-toe. Because you can put your pieces over other people's pieces, but it has to be a bigger piece. You can't put a small piece on a big piece.
Correct.
So
Once
the
you get
game
3 in a row, you win.
So the game
Good job.
never ends in a draw. You cannot cat game Goblet Gobbers. Someone always wins because it's got that third dimension to it. But yeah, any kind of board game that you can imagine, there's a type for someone out there. Whether you want a fast game, a long game, 2 players, 6 players, you can find it at Cabbages and Kings.
If you got a
RPGs,
super
doesn't matter.
huge, I'm talking real big party of people that want to play, give 2 Rooms and a Boom a try.
2 Rooms and a Boom can host tons of people. What is it, up to like 50?
I think so.
Yeah.
It
that's
quite
the
literally
one- is that the one you guys talked about last time?
You need 2 separate rooms.
2 rooms, and then you find the boom.
And then you find the boom.
But you can get a hold of Cabbages and Kings either at their website, cabbagesandkings.games, or on their Facebook, or you can just give them a call, and you can find that number on their Facebook, and whoever answers will be able to help you out. You can ask what kind of games you're into, and he'll be able to narrow it down and find something that you might like. So give them a call, hit them up, support local business. They're offering curbside pickup right now. Cabbages and Kings.
Yeah, information on the screen. So essentially, it's on the topic of board games and tabletop games. I started continuing writing on my D&D story again.
Gotcha again.
I've
Jump back
stopped
in.
writing on my story. I should start again.
I started writing my book again.
started writing back up. Oh, you started your book again.
Yeah, just randomly started writing it
Been
again.
waiting for this to come out for a long time now.
Speaking of book, I've got a short story here about a cat that turns green. And this is based off of a real thing that I did when I was like 3.
Dyed your cat?
I dyed a cat green with food coloring. Turns out cats and food coloring don't mix, and all of his hair fell out.
Wow.
It's an adventure. So I wrote it from the perspective of like a 6 or 7 year
Of
old.
the cat.
From like a
That'd
6
be
or
cool.
7 year old. But realistically, I
Day
was
7, I'm
very
losing
young.
my hair. I don't know what this child.
And so it's basically like an adventure. This kid traversing the valley of the sink just to get snacks. Because he wanted snacks. That's all I
I
wanted.
feel like that's a good children's book. That would make a really good like children's books that will entertain the parent and also entertain
originally
the
I was given the prompt. It was
Most
just,
of
you
the
know,
illustration that gets them from
Yeah.
children's books, though.
it was just a prompt. It was like, you know, what's a memory you have from when you're younger? What's the earliest memory you have? And this is one of the earliest things I remember. And I just wrote a little bit about it, and it ended up being like 5 pages.
do something with it.
But no, it was fun.
I like writing
I
things.
enjoy creative writing. I hate essays.
My stupid
I'd
little
rather cut my
bio
hand
on Xbox used to be a small short story
I'd rather cut
of
my
a guy
hand
that
off
stuck
if I had
into
to
a
write an
race and
essay.
killed some people.
Mine's just a quote.
And mine corresponded with Seth's bio, who was my sniper that was covering me. So, like, in my story, a dude would get taken out that was getting ready to get me, and in his story, it would tell about him taking
I
him
saw
out.
my friend. And I took
Yeah,
the dude
basically,
out.
yeah. It was so
Pretty sweet,
dumb, but
though.
it was also, like, it's super fun
Well,
to
like,
write.
But even if it's dumb, you still have to enjoy those little things you do, because anything that you think is stupid right now, and this is what they'll tell you if you want to be an aspiring writer. This is a little advice if you want to be a writer. I'm not a writer. I'm not published. Don't take it to heart.
He can't spell either.
I'm terrible at spelling. But anything you
Pretty good at
have,
it.
if you have an idea and that idea interests you, even for just a moment, write it down. Because you never know. You could come back to that in a year, and suddenly you know what you want to do with it. You could expand on it and make it something
Correct.
you're interested in.
A journal is
Yeah.
all. It's super good to have a small journal you can
Everything
write
you
things in.
have.
If you don't have a journal in your life, you might be making a mistake.
Yeah, everything you have, just
No
write
matter
it
how
down.
dumb you think the idea is, you could come back to it and be like, that exact idea is dumb, but I can take it apart and take things from that idea and add to
Mhm.
this idea I have working.
That's essentially what I've been doing with that D&D campaign.
Mhm.
When I get the aspiration to read it or like write in it, that's what I do.
That's what I've done with that book I'm writing. Is I take things from games, things from books that I've listened to, and be like, "That's a cool thing. What if it did?" And then just write small stuff down. Facts I learn about the Earth from random
Yeah.
podcasts I've listened to, so I can input factual stuff.
I
into
get a
my
lot
book.
of inspiration from listening to some of the books I listen to.
Mhm.
Like they really help me out.
Another good thing you can do is just find somebody that's not going to tell your idea is stupid. Somebody that you can just walk up to and say like, "Hey, this is what I was thinking," and see what they have to bounce off of it, because they could give you ideas
Yeah.
that you weren't even ready for.
You
something
obviously
that
don't
you
want
didn't know.
someone that's going to say, "Yeah, that's cool," every single time. You don't want a yes man.
No.
You want
But you don't
somebody
want
that's
them
going to
to
give you.
rip it apart.
You want
real
an
feedback.
honest person.
Yeah.
They're
don't
going
want
to tell
someone-
you, like, "Hey, this part doesn't make much sense."
Why would that happen?
They're going to tell you what you need to explain more, because when you create
constructive
something yourself just alone, you don't necessarily know the good and bad parts. There are parts that'll make sense to you, but because they make sense to you, you won't think about it a second time.
You won't
and you won't flesh
elaborate
it out.
on what that idea was.
Correct. That's the way. Like it's one of the things I struggle with in my D&D a little bit. Like when we test ran it a little bit when we did a bachelor party with it. I essentially modified some of like the character aspects. So that dungeon crawl we did took place in my world because it had the world's deities and everything like that. I just didn't flesh out the plot line to you or anything like that, so you don't understand it all. But it was supposed to be like a quick run through of a game that lasted a night for someone's bachelor party.
It was lore building, if anything.
Yeah, and it kind of helped me see some flaws that I had in it.
But when you're
And
writing,
stuff
you
like
just have to
that.
remember that people aren't in your brain. They don't know.
It was just super nice
have
that
no
like
idea what you're
even
talking
without
about.
really knowing the people that were in the group, I could still pinpoint like what kind of person they were to use it and
Based on the information you gave them.
then try to figure out like, well, this guy seems like a really good guy, so I feel like his character would be good at doing this. Mark's always a chaotic evil guy.
It's not true. I just like playing that.
That's like
one of my favorite characters I ever made got shot down by the group, and I was really upset. It was a group I joined up in Rochester right when I moved there, and the guy met Rob, super nice guy, good DM. I was like, hey, I know your group's mostly good guys. Can I play an evil character? And he goes, yeah.
Absolutely.
Why not?
That'd be great.
And then the group railroaded me out of an evil character because they decided out of game that they know my character now and they know I'm evil and they know I lie, so they don't believe me. When in the game, they had known my guy for maybe 2 hours.
So they did some...
Yeah.
They above board game. They metagame really hard. And so I was just like, listen, I was like, Rob, I'm sorry, but I can't play in this anymore because they're not going to let me play my character. And he goes, no, I get it.
You know, you have to...
Ruined it.
When you play like a game like that...
It's hard to break game from real life for most people. Like
a lot of people...
really hard to... If you know someone's lying, but you have to play your character who doesn't know, that can be really hard.
A lot of people aren't as into the role-playing aspect of D&D as they might think they are.
They're into mainly into the...
Which
lore or
is fine if you want to use your character's abilities and go in a dungeon crawl and just have the abilities and go in a dungeon crawl. That's fine. I personally
I like character building.
I'm a much bigger fan of like character building, of just like role playing into it, building a story with your friends.
We're all fairly.
That's why I like Critical
RPG
Role.
games in general.
That's why I like Critical Role, because they're less about the gameplay, more about building a story.
They're very heavily If Matt,
when you play D&D, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be more about the story of the game.
They didn't intend it to be rule based heavily. Like
no.
Loose rules, most importantly, have fun.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, I want my DM or my group to be that group, because
that's why, like,
I don't know those people.
If you're trying to do cool stuff, if the DM's not letting you do cool stuff, like, it's not like then he's trying to make it towards mostly his narrative, and you want it to, like, you don't ever want to be your narrative of the game. You want this group to be the center of the story.
My view, whenever I DM, which isn't very often, so far I think it's been 2 or 3 times, is that
I hardly ever do not get to DM.
Yeah, my view when I DM is that I am not there to tell a story. I am there to help progress the player's story.
Correct.
The players are telling the story. I'm just giving them a place to tell it.
Correct. Like there's so many times you can bypass certain things.
Because when we did our one shot, when I DM'd for you guys,
we sent that off the rails real quick.
I had a story sort of set up. I had a base general storyline for them to follow, and they immediately negated it instantly. They were just like, nope.
Well, here's all my notes. In Critical Role, you'll see Matt just close up a like folder and just set it aside.
I went into
that person's gone.
Because the one thing I decided was I do not want to go into this and just spitball this entire thing on the spot.
Yep.
And then I immediately had to spitball the entire session on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
We spent a lot of time extorting people in his story.
That happened with mine when it was me, you, us, and Johnny.
Oh yeah,
I had a story, but no one really followed it, and I was like, "We're not going to do the story."
But the best part is,
we'll go on Austin being a superhero,
even though it was absolutely ridiculous and ended up having nothing to do with what I originally wanted it to be. It's a good story that fleshes out the lore that I can put in a world. That's the dragon crisis of that little port town now. There was never a dragon.
But now there is.
It didn't exist. They made it up.
There was never a dragon.
But as far as the world knows, no. That's the dragon incident.
Yeah, no, because we convinced a lot of people there were a dragon attacking their city.
They convinced most of the guards that there was a dragon.
They're like, shit, there is.
And then we killed a lot of them.
Dan,
out of self-defense.
No, murder.
No, it was
Albert started it. My brother started the murder.
I was about to get arrested. I don't blame the guy.
So Wayne was shaking down a clergyman. He was shaking the priest down, trying to extort him for thousands of gold.
Basically Robin Hood.
He was robbing. He was not Robin. He was robbing.
I mean, this man's a man of the church.
And so as he was shaking...
Chaotic neutral, son.
As he was physically shaking down this clergyman...
He says physically shaking down. Now picture this. It's a human clergyman, and I'm a goblin.
Yeah. But this dude was terrified because there was a panic because everyone was running into the church because, oh my god, dragons!
Dragons are coming, dude. What do you expect?
And meanwhile... Chris was off ringing the town danger bell.
Yeah, it helped progress the story of there being a dragon.
And so because that happened, all these people are flooding into this church.
Dan was mostly about his dead frog I snuck into his pocket.
Yeah, Dan didn't even notice. Dan plays his character extremely well. Dan knew he didn't have a frog, but his character was like, oh, I have a frog.
Oh, look at this.
And he started using it as a puppet. But Wayne is shaking this guy down, and a guard comes in to check on all the people running into the church and says, why is this guy shaking down the clerk? And he goes to stop and be like, hey, what are you doing? And my brother decides, oh, murder time, and stabs this guard and then cuts him in half. I'm like, what the hell?
Cuts him in half. Why did that
He
happen?
does. He just cleaves straight down. I'm just
That
like,
was his goal.
"Oh, I guess Albert's evil. I didn't know that. Albert tried to justify it. He's like, oh, it
Well, the
wasn't
thing is,
evil.
like his character said, I think it was something. It was like lawful good.
Yeah, and he just straight murdered a guard in cold blood. And his justification? Well, he was attacking my friend. No, not once did I roll an attack.
It was a good time. We ended up running into the woods. Fun fact: darkness bubble. You can't see out of it. No one can see into it.
I remember hearing this.
Yeah, he since he was a goblin and Albert
I was a goblin druid.
Albert was a half orc. He picked up Wayne, and they ran together. And Wayne cast darkness on himself, and so both of them were running blind.
Why'd you do that?
Because they couldn't see us. It's what I thought.
All they saw was a giant moving black orb, and they thought maybe that's suspicious, and they all chased it down.
Why wouldn't they?
Oh, then by then, like Albert ran out of the orb after
Almost
he
ran
setting
into
me
a
down.
wall.
He ran out of the orb, and I just sat there. I turned into a bear and just sat there. So when it cleared up, and I they just saw a bear, and they're like, "What?"
It was interesting.
Pretty dope.
I had to play off as like a random bear, saunter my way into the woods, and then turn my way back and double back to the group.
Didn't work. Everybody was like, "Nope, that's suspicious," and started fighting.
They followed me.
Little did I
Dark
know.
Orb Bear, I would probably fight it.
I didn't know
fight it right
anybody-
away. We didn't fight it till we got towards
The hole,
the little
cave.
hole that Dan blocked off with his little imaginary home.
But I didn't expect. It was never my plan for them to have to fight the guards. So I didn't give the guards any stats. They were basically level 1. So they're slaughtering these people because they're level 6 and 7.
Which it should probably be the opposite.
They're just absolutely
Normally on
dominating
guards.
these
Yeah.
dudes. And they're just like, man, these guys are really easy. I was like, yeah, you weren't supposed to fight them. They don't have stats.
I always make my guards OP.
That's the best
To
way
make
to do
it make it
That's
a
like,
point that you do not want to do illegal
like in
shit
Elder
in
Scrolls
this town.
Online when you start shit in a town.
well,
The
the whole
guards
reason
drop you.
the
Except
whole
for
reason I made them weaker is because like the whole point is that they were coming to fix the issue that the guards couldn't. The guards couldn't do it,
Guards
so
were
they
pussies.
needed stronger people to come and
obviously
fix the
going
problem.
bitches. I wanted to do that one heist one that's similar if you've ever played Payday. Anyone? I wanted to do a campaign that was similar to Payday, where you had to
Heisting.
flesh out a heist, do that heist, and we'd roll and do everything like a normal D&D game towards a heist. And I was gonna make the guards killable. Like normally I'd make them stupid levels with stupid strength and stuff, but I wanted to make the guards easy to be killed. However, there's huge consequences. I wanted to make it a realistic, like, you stab a guard and he's bleeding out. His blood's on the floor. What are you going to do about this? There's guards doing their rounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I made a trap room. We have a buddy of ours who's played D&D for a very long time. It's the twins, it's Aaron and David.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron is a little bit more into the technical side. He's about building a character backwards. He starts at 20, figures out what he wants to do at level 20, and works back every single level to level 1, so he knows exactly what he has to do.
That's
He
kind
passed it out.
of
He's-
smart.
He's
He's
very
insane about it.
He's very technical about it, and so I built a trap room, and I needed somebody's opinion on it. So I sent him a picture of this trap room, and he goes, "What am I looking at?" And I go, "That's a trap." And he goes, "Yeah, no, I know, but how does it work?" So I explained it to him, and he told me, "Honestly, if I was in a party and you didn't tell me all that, it'd probably take us a couple hours to get through this. This could be the entire session." I was like, "Oh, all right, I'm a trap guy."
This is
I
nice.
was like, "Apparently, I'm a trap guy." He's like, "Yeah, this could take an entire session."
I tried to
figure
write out one trap and I fucked it up, and I was like, "There's no way out of this." I was like, "It's just a death room."
I like in that session we had, I had tons of traps going off.
Yeah. In the one that we played with, me, you, who's the guy that you worked with at Menards?
Travis?
No.
No.
Me, you, I think Austin. Yeah, me, you,
Austin was there.
Who was the dude? The paint guy.
Alex? Not Alex.
Big
He was
dude. Tom?
Oh yes, yeah. When I
Tom.
did the mutant thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Tom.
That was fun. I didn't follow the story at all.
Yeah, I
But
made
it was
like
fun.
a mutant type. Like you are a mutant and like you exist in this post-apocalyptic world.
So there's a game style. There's a game for that. It's an actual.
This is one I made though.
No, I understand, but like if you want to play one that's got like the rules and a lot of the powers fleshed out for you, there's one.
This had
It's basically
specific stuff,
D&D.
like it was set up like when you would level up, you would mutate. Is how I had it set up. So like when you leveled up, you would mutate and you'd get a different mutation. However, we never got to that point because there was a few of us playing.
I think you messed up the map to where if we went one wrong way
Yeah.
We couldn't fucking get back, and it was
Yeah.
just done. That was it. And that's all we did was run
Yep.
through walls, basically.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting because you guys went down and you guys were like testing out your characters and stuff like that. And then Tom was new to the whole situation; he never played D&D before, and it was a different variant, so he was kind of learning it as he went. And then like you guys got on this whole thing where you guys just wanted to build your own weapon, so I had to like have them fall out build a weapon.
Yeah, there's a game called Mutants and Masterminds, which is basically a D&D version of like X-Men,
That's where you're like super.
where your
yeah,
superheroes are
super
supervillains.
Yeah, I didn't
but
want them to be like any type of like.
We didn't have crazy powers.
But
yeah.
no, well,
We
this
had
is a
light.
D&D version, so it's definitely powered down. It's not a self-insert Superman scenario. You have like, I can breathe fire. Okay, you can breathe fire. What else can you do? Nope, that's about it. If I get shot, I die.
That's all you can do. You're just a normal human that can be that. That's almost what it was like.
It was kind of similar to that.
Someone
like,
did flashbang stuff. What was it?
Yeah, you could like set up like a whole flashbang scenario, like with it did different things to your stats and everything like that. When you
Yeah,
did
it
with
was
one.
something that blinded. I forgot who it was. I forgot mine. I was super strong. I think that was it.
Yeah, you were super. You had super strength.
That's like when I talk to Dalton and he has all these different characters, and I just say, "I like smashing things."
Yeah.
He's
Mike
like,
is a
the
barbarian.
I
type
was like,
of
"Yeah,
player.
I'm almost always the barbarian."
I like playing fighters because they're easy.
I just like, yeah, I like.
Fighters and druid, I think, is what I like.
In
to play
Wayne's
the most.
campaign, I had a dog, and I had an armored backpack that I kept
Yep.
him in. Even though he couldn't die because he was a puppy,
One
Wayne
of my
made it a point
favorite
that he
things is
wasn't
just
gonna die.
like making really old dudes. Like when I made that chaotic evil character in that campaign up in Minnesota, I made him like 80 years old, and he was a rogue under the assassin tree. So he was like, "Brrr!" And then he would shoot you with a crossbow and get a sneak attack and do like 12d6 damage. Brrr!
But he was still
The
senile.
thing, like,
That was one of my traits. I gave him. I made him. What is it? I made him senile. Like he was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
He couldn't remember anything. It starts with a D. I can't remember the name of it.
Dementia.
He had dementia. I
That was- that really was it.
Yeah, I gave him dementia.
I thought you were just.
there
fucking
was
around.
like there was a time
Like
like
he
for a
was
while.
100% convinced that he was a good guy, but all he did was murder people and steal their stuff. But he
He's
thought
like-
he was a good guy.
He's like,
like,
"Nah, I'm great though."
I wouldn't tell them when something died
Oh yeah,
for
I beat-
for a while.
I kicked in. I think it was when I kicked in a shed.
I think so. You guys
kicked
like
in a
you guys
shed, and
kicked
I kept-
something in, and
I
you just
kept
kept
beating the
attacking.
fuck out of a body, and I was like, "Hold on!" I was like, "Is it alive?"
I
And
just
they were like,
waited.
"Would you like to check?" And I was like, "Yes." He's like, "He's been dead." And I was like,
It was a lot of fun sorting that out.
The
Pretty
thing,
sure I
that,
used my rage on that.
the thing that really got me is that my old dementia senile character was the only person who had any common sense in this party of good players who were all about their god and savior Paylor, who is an official D&D deity.
Yeah.
And they're just like, hey, we're fighting a baby blue dragon right now. And one of them had the great idea. Our cleric, the one who railroaded me out of my character, who wouldn't let me play my evil character, was just like, we got to save this dragon. And we're like, what? And he goes, don't kill it. And everybody's like, why? He's like, we're going to use it. This is going to be our horse. This is going to drive our carriage. And everyone at the table went, yeah. And our DM was just like, okay.
That's not how
You can
dragons
try.
work.
I'm the only person who was like, wow, that's a blue dragon, right? Our DM said, yep. And I go, oh, you mean the evil dragon? I'm going to crew to graw it.
Yeah, you're like, "No, thank you."
I
my
walked
friend."
up and I killed it. And they're like, why did you do that? And I'm like, because our DM is not going to let us keep a dragon. We're level 6.
Especially an evil
Yeah,
dragon.
an evil dragon.
That thing will
Just
kill
how
us
it
in our
is.
sleep.
Yeah, it's called Dungeons and Dragons for a reason. A dragon is
Yeah.
one of the most powerful creatures. I mean, obviously not the
In
most.
the it's not
in
the
game,
most powerful,
but it's
it is
one of the
most.
scariest
Honestly,
things
we
to come
probably
up
shouldn't have
against.
been able to fight a baby dragon either. I'm pretty
It's
sure
like,
they're like CR10.
Correct. You can't
Baby
fight it.
dragons are.
But-
I think we ran from a baby dragon in ours.
He let us get away with
Yeah,
it.
you guys did
You brought a dragon in, and we were like,
because
no,
like
fuck
I
this.
showed there was a dragon. You guys like, yeah, no, we're not gonna. We're gonna
there was,
leave.
Yeah, there was some option we could have to go into something.
My favorite part about that character is that I had a bag of holding with like 10,000 caltrops in it.
Wow.
And every time
That's a lot.
one of my teammates would get next to me, because I have dementia, I don't know who they are. Somebody's following me. So I would stealth and sneak out of the bush and throw a bunch of caltrops behind me at their feet and run away. So my companions were constantly taking 1d4 damage on caltrops.
I like it.
It's a pretty solid. kind of character, though.
Wayne gave one of our players a vest of 100 pockets.
Yeah, I gave.
And he'd randomly
Gave him
have him. He had a sheet of
It was a
100 different
vest with
items. that he
100
could
tiny
pull out of
pockets,
it.
and I
My
had
favorite
literally
pocket-
had it set up
What was
where
mine?
he would have to roll. Yours was a mysterious map.
Oh yeah, and I didn't know where the fuck. And when anything significant happened, I'd say, "Oh, let me check my map."
So my
And to the
favorite,
point, I was like, I'm not gonna check my
my
map.
favorite item in the robe of useless things. My favorite pocket is the pocket that is 3/4 of a boat. You get all of the boat except for the bottom.
What goes
I like
best with
it.
a boat, though?
What was best
A
with the boat?
sweet beard.
Oh, sweet.
You know how you take care of that beard?
How do you
You
take
know,
care of that beard?
Vikings used to use boats. That's how they conquered England.
And they had
How are they going to
beards.
take care of their beard,
Leif
Mikey?
Erikson
They conquered England,
came over
Mikey?
and found the Americas. Yeah, they conquered it.
Conquered.
Yes.
And that is why it is not England, it is
And
Viking
then they
land.
lost it.
Oh.
You can lose something you've conquered.
That's true.
It's America.
I don't think they
More
conquered
importantly-
it.
That's what we do.
I think they just walked over there and said, I'm going to take some of this. And there's a, yep.
More importantly,
And then they said,
they take
Bye.
care of their beard. But you know how they take care of their beard?
How so?
They visit sweet websites like the Beard Struggle.
Tell me more.
Essentially, they have everything. Like, I'm starting to use them. Get some sweet beard care. They got some amazing trimmers I'd like to try out.
they have a really good beard straightener that I want to try out.
They do have a really
because
sweet
I have a
looking beard
curly, I have a
straightener.
curly beard. I'm a man with a curly
That
beard.
is true.
I heard that they had 20 of my dollars.
They do.
I don't know who gave you that information, but
But yeah, they have some sweet. They have some sweet beard oil you can put in at night, help keep your beard good at night, and then they have some you throw in the morning, keeps it really good. I got some of their nightly beard oil, so I'm gonna give it a try.
I've used it a while ago. It was some of the first beard care products I bought when I first started growing my beard big,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really nice. But I just stopped for some reason. I think I cut my beard. And sacrilege,
And,
I know.
now
And then
Now we're back into the whole. We're growing our beards out full and heavy.
when we went to Colorado, I had a pretty decent beard on there, and I
So-
got Wayne into some beard products, and we're using all kinds of stuff.
We're gonna start growing them out super heavy, which is like since you're going your hair out, Mark. You need to visit the Beard Struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
On
have
their
to check it
website.
out.
That'll help.
You can
get
see
a
that on the
thick-
screen. And if you visit them and you go to buy anything, why not use our promo code TimesUp15 TIMESUP 15.
It'll get you 15%
Get you
off
15% off of whatever you purchase.
at checkout.
It's a fantastic time to be a man with a beard.
That's right.
Vikings
Or a woman.
forever.
I was
beard.
gonna, or a woman,
If
Or
you
a
want to
woman with a
be,
beard.
by all means, go for
Listen,
it.
circuses aren't open right now, but that doesn't mean they're not important.
and they also don't have to go to a circus if they have a beard.
That's a fact. Beards rule. People without beards, they do the drooling.
They do the drooling. They're from Jupiter because they're stupider.
Wow.
Anyways, visit thebeardstruggle.com. Use our promo code TimesUp15. 15% off at checkout.
I like it.
How about it?
Yeah, now you need to get some and grow your beard out. We're committed.
Well, you see, grow my beard out. I'm gonna have to wait till it's a full beard. For now, I'll just
See, that's the part of the
play with
show.
these. I'll just work
You
these
just gotta
face
let it
cubes
go.
into a nice shape.
Just gotta let it
Let
go.
Start throwing some product on there.
I got this issue where anything under my lip until my chin just doesn't exist.
You'll make it happen, I promise. It doesn't take long.
Just let it go.
Let it grow.
Just let it go.
I actually, before we recorded last week, I let it go for like
You didn't let it go very long then.
a month. No, I shaved it. I shaved it like the day before we recorded. I let it go for like a month or two, and I looked at it, and it just made all the spots that don't grow hair very apparent.
Patchy. Yeah.
I mean, it's about what it be. Once you
Plus-
get your beard out, you'll be a true man.
Well, I've got this weird, I've got this weird hair color thing going on where the hair on my head is blonde, dirty blonde, and in the summer it gets a little bit lighter, but it's mostly a dirty blonde. My eyebrows, in the summer go white; they get bleached,
Weird.
and then my facial hair is like red.
My facial hair is red. My hair on the head, my head is dirty blonde.
So I've got three
Eyebrows.
different colors of hair going on.
Yeah, I do. I
Wow.
do too. I have brown eyebrows and blonde hair on top, red beard.
I have red in my beard.
But you have darker hair,
Yeah, I
so it
do.
doesn't look weird.
You're correct. I have brown
But now I don't have
hair.
hair,
Then.
so
It's
It's all
all
shaved away.
Exactly.
Not even a beard
no.
or armpits.
Oh, he's got a
It's all
beard
gone.
going.
Remember that guy that came to Menards that had no hair,
Yes.
no eyebrows,
Yeah.
no
Was he
beard, no-
also albino? Because that
Nope.
would look spooky.
he wasn't
No.
a ghost. He was just a normal
He's
guy.
just really creepy.
Did he shave his pits?
He
or
was
did they just
super
not
buff
exist?
too. He was jacked.
Super jacked, no hair.
Maybe
No
he
hair.
was on a lot of estrogen trying to lose all of the jackness.
No, I think it's like when he decided to shave his head, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna shave the entire length of my
I don't know if
body."
he did. I'd never seen him with any kind of stubble anywhere. I think he had some kind of something that
Glandular.
he just couldn't grow hair, and so he just got jacked for some reason.
He was the
One Punch Man.
He
He was One Punch Man.
was One Punch Man.
That's all I'm saying. That's
That
all
all
I'm saying.
fell out.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
He did so much working out. it
He
just
was
fell out.
right at the stage where he was about to get skinny again.
Are they gonna make more One Punch Man? Is that a thing?
I don't know if they're gonna make more. I know they're still writing the story. Murata's still drawing it,
I really want them to.
but I don't know if they're gonna
It'd
make
be
another
nice.
season. Well, here's what I don't know
My
if they're
second
gonna make another
favorite,
season.
probably anime.
The first season was purely a passion project. It had an amazing director, amazing visual artists, amazing animators. It all came together, and the reason they came together is because of the guy who directed the first season. They're like, yes, we will work under him any day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And after the first season came out, he said, all right, good job, team, going home. And he left the project. And because he left the project, everyone else was like, all right, he's not here, peace. And so it went to a second separate studio, which still did a good job
Yeah.
on the second season,
But the first
but
was,
it's very obviously a different anime.
it was like the comedic humor in the first one was just so in perfect timing, and then they knew when to back off the comedy
like,
and
perfectly laid out.
Yeah.
add
The
more,
first
and
one
then just
in
throw a comedy.
Modern
in there.
movies need to take a note.
the
from
second
that.
one is definitely visually, both visually and story wise, you can tell it's a different studio
Mhm.
who maybe aren't as passionate about the source material.
No.
They still care. They
Still
still
very
made
good.
a good
It's
product.
a very
Like,
good, yeah. Still
compared to
just
compared to some of the shows I've seen come from that studio, they're by no means skipped out on.
yeah. What's the other one they made that I don't like? I don't know. Some people probably like Hellsing. It's called.
Is it the original or Ultimate though?
I think it's the original.
Because the original is not only old, but the quality was Hellsing Ultimate.
That's what the
It's a
quality.
fantastic
Yeah,
quality.
the quality. I'm pretty sure it was the original, and I did not like it. I watched. I don't even know how much, but I was just like, "This has done nothing for me."
Yeah.
I was like, "Meh." I could have not watched this.
Yeah,
and
I don't want
fine.
to get too deep into it because I could talk anime and manga for hours.
This is true. I could also do this. Like
But-
we all could.
But I don't know if they'll have a season 3 just because the feedback for season 2 was, it wasn't as positive.
Mm-mm.
And what matters to Japanese anime producers is not typically it is not the American market.
No,
So it doesn't matter if America likes it. If it doesn't do well at home, they drop it.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Because
Why
it's
would they-
not suiting
yeah,
for their,
why would
their
they
audience.
continue to
That's
make
what that's one of the problems that happened with Log Horizon. Log Horizon is one of my favorite shows. It's got 2 seasons out, and I doubt it'll ever have a season 3 for 2 main reasons. A, the people who made it went down for tax fraud, I'm pretty sure.
What a way! What a way to go!
And
Put
B,
a
the
damper on
second
the
season did not do nearly as well as the first season. And it's been like 9 years, so I really doubt it'll
Yeah,
ever get a
probably
third
not.
one.
It'll probably never happen.
That's not to say it won't. There's been shows
True.
that have gone longer that have gotten reboots.
Came straight back.
But I
and
highly doubt
done
it will,
good.
which disappoints me because it's super popular on the American market, but the American market doesn't matter to them.
That's true.
We're not their main source of income.
That's just how it is sometimes in the world. On that note, it's time's up, boys. It's time to close up shop. So, for those of you listening,
Did you sing that last time?
no.
Mark started to.
We're
last
not
time.
doing-
I did a little bit.
Anyways, let us know what your, I guess the question for you, the most part, be tell us what your favorite anime and anime character are on that ending note.
They don't have to be from the same show.
They don't have to be from the same
Can
show
be
whatsoever.
Favorite anime, different character.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd say
slap you up with our couple
Solid.
favorites for us. Mike, Mark, favorite anime character.
Favorite anime and anime character?
What are they?
Oh man, I have no
Actually,
idea.
it's
Come
so
back to me in
boring.
a second. Go to Mikey.
What's yours?
Cowboy Bebop, Spike Spiegel.
Mikey's from the same
person, yeah.
exact one.
Can't beat no Spike.
Cowboy Bebop and Spike Spiegel are amazing. I would have to
Very
say
solid.
currently my favorite show is probably Ghost in the Shell. I love the
Favorite show,
storytelling in
Ghost in the
Ghost in the
Shell?
Shell.
Very
Okay.
good.
Favorite
Very, very
anime
good.
character.
Favorite character? Man. It's probably Killua from Hunter x Hunter. Not because by any means is that show superior to Ghost in the Shell, but Killua, you really get to see the progression of his character. He goes from being a really tough bitch to being a really cool bitch.
Fair enough.
He gets over himself. He's got this fear through the whole show, and he finally, like, at the end of the show, gets over himself, and he's like, why am I afraid? I'm strong as shit. And you're like, yeah, you are.
Sure. For me, I'd say my favorite anime is Attack on Titan. And my favorite anime character is the new Broly they made. He's phenomenal in every way.
My favorite series as a whole, One Piece.
Fuck One Piece.
I
Time's
did
up.
really like One Piece a lot. I mean, I would say my close second is Levi from Attack on Titan.
That's fair.
Even though he's like the such obvious badass motherfucker in
I
there.
read One Piece now. I've caught mostly up. I haven't read like the last 5 chapters, maybe 10 chapters, but I watched it beginning to end because it hasn't caught up in the anime. I've watched it beginning to end like 4 times, and I'm just like, I need more. Like I can't just keep watching this. So I started reading it, and I've caught up again. But I'm so far ahead now in reading it that there's no point in me redoing any of it. So I'm just letting chapters pile up.
I watched One Piece for a solid 2 years when it first came out. When I was in grade school.
When I was super...
Said to close out, you motherfuckers still talking. Good thing I shut it off already.